Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing. And we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Just got the brakes fixed on my car today.
You did? You haven't even left the office.
I didn't need to. I got a guy who picks up my car and drops it off when it's done.
Well, who's your guy?
Graham Tire. They have pickup and delivery service at all 5 of their Lincoln locations.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
This is Rudy Gress, the fourth year Ticket Sports Update. At last night's Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks captured their second Lombardi Trophy, defeating the New England Patriots 29-13 in Super Bowl 60. Following the game, Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III was named Super Bowl MVP after rushing for 135 yards, becoming the first running back to win the award in nearly 3 decades. On the Nebraska basketball front, the Husker men picked up an 80-68 road win over Rutgers over the weekend, setting a school record for the most Big Ten road wins in a single season. Nebraska returns to action tomorrow night, February 10th, hosting Purdue at 7 p.m. Central inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. That game will be televised on Big Ten Network. As for more Nebraska athletics news, Husker softball wrapped up opening weekend at the UTSA Invitational with a 3-2 record, highlighted by a major upset win over number 1 Texas in a matchup many had circled to start the year. Nebraska wrestling also capped senior day with a 47-0 sweep of Northwestern, winning all 10 matches in its final home duel of the regular season. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour 1 of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back in on a fantastic day here in the 402. I'm Austin. He is Jay. Glad you're along for the ride as always. 402-464-5685. Taking your thoughts on Husker basketball, baseball, softball, wrestling, the Super Bowl, all show long. Jay Foreman back in studio. Had a good time at Back 9 on Friday, but good to be back too.
Yeah, there's nothing like being a champion, man.
Hey.
Yeah, and then it's a beautiful day today, man.
Makes us all champions when
Yes,
it's
sir.
that nice outside.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing outside. No wind, and Nebraska's been in a long overdue for, I guess, a summer day in February, early summer.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's supposed to continue, right? 40s and 50s
I
all
know.
next week and maybe back up here again next week, potentially.
I know that, it's so warm today. People are going to be like, oh, man, I'm cold when it's 50. Remember when it was 50 below? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even if it's a day that's as nice as this, you can still stop by our friends at Back 9 Golf. We had a Carrie Jensen. She was the winner of our free 3-hour tee time for 4 last Friday. Really appreciate her stopping by. Give the good folks down there a holler. The other people you should get familiar with, the good folks at Graham Tire Company. They're celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. It's Graham Tire who's getting you to the places that matter most. Again, 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Big thanks to the good folks at Buffalo Wings and Rings for hosting our Super Bowl party. We'll do full Super Bowl reaction coming up in hour number 2. Here in hour 1 of the show, we'll talk some Husker hoops and some Husker football recruiting. Brian Munson was down for the count last week, but he got up off the mat. He has recovered. We'll wrap up the 26 class and start looking ahead to the 2027 signing class that's off to a hot start for the Huskers. Eric says, my man part-time Jay, welcome back. Eric, get over yourself. Come on, man.
Yeah, welcome back. I mean, Eric, that's just guaranteed. Eric's, he tries to show love through trying to be a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing.
Yeah, you always tease the ones you love the most or something like that.
Or
whatever it is.
Back in, yeah. I appreciate that, Eric. It's nice to hear from you. My day would not be complete if I didn't see that.
Well, hey.
He probably has it on a timer text. You know what I mean?
Right, scheduled.
Yeah, scheduled.
Schedule send.
Yeah.
Eric's probably hard at work right now, which would be a first. No, I'm kidding. We're kidding, Eric. We're kidding. Appreciate you chiming in. Hard at work, though, Jay. Nebraska men's basketball. They go on the road to Piscataway. They take down Rutgers. Final score of 80-68. Not the cleanest game for Nebraska, especially down the stretch in the second half. But we got that comment a couple times, that 18-point lead, a little sloppy late. What was Nebraska doing? I continue to not understand that complaint, right? You think about this game, you think about, the Washington game are the two that come to mind for me.
Yeah, those are probably the two that kind of replicated each other.
Right. But Nebraska had, a healthy double-digit lead. It's not like it was at 10 and then dwindled all the way down and Nebraska re-extended it. Nebraska kept a team at arm's length. Sure, you want them to play perfect down the stretch, but we got that text from 4 or 5 different people, and I just had to laugh. Like, Nebraska won a conference road game by 12 points, and they scored 80. What are we complaining about? Especially after the midweek off.
Hey man, it's great when you get to complain about those type of things. You're worried about the aesthetics of how you win a basketball game. And I think the day and time that ever was present is probably maybe around when I was in college. So those are good problems to have. I mean, I'm sure from a coaching standpoint, Fred and them are going to look at it because they want to finish the whole game, and you're going to need that type of mental capacity to finish out games. And so he's probably looking at the bigger picture, but, sometimes you get some other guys in and stuff like that, and they're trying to, figure it out. And plus you got to think Rutgers had been playing a little bit better and they were desperate, and so sometimes that can kind of lead to a run of points that normally would, if you were, within the realm of, a 10-point lead. So I'm happy with it. It was good to see Rink get busy. It was good to see that everybody kind of, got going a little bit. And anytime you win a road game, after 2 hard losses and then a long, like almost a week off, it showed that they were really ready to compete because, out there, Piscataway is not a easy place to play. Like,
especially at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. So I like it. It's onward upward. You got a big one tomorrow. You know exactly who they are. They know who you know who you are. You've played well against them, at times. And I think this Purdue team that's coming, even though they are very good, and Smith and company like that, but I think they're definitely beatable with this cast of characters because I think that Nebraska more than anything can take them out of their comfort zone. Talking about Purdue. And so it's a tremendous opportunity.
It sure is. Before we get to that game in the back half of the segment, just sticking on Nebraska at Rutgers, 4 players, Jay, in double figures for Nebraska. You mentioned Rink Mass leading the way with 26 points on 11 out of 20 overall. Then you have Price Sanford go for 15, Sam Hoiberg go for 13, and DeMarcus Lawrence go for 12, providing the bulk of the scoring for Nebraska. And we got this text in post-game too, was Sam Hoiberg is Nebraska's identity. And I see where people are coming from with that.
That's not a bad thing if that's the case.
But I'm not sure it's necessarily true. There's a way in which Sam Hoiberg is the identity, right? When you think about the culture shift, you think about Nebraska digging in defensively, and you think about, like we've talked about on this show, maybe Nebraska not looking like much. Oh, you're still kind of surprised by Nebraska. Sam's the identity in that way. But I think you can say Rink Mast is the identity. When he plays well and he's stretching the floor, he ties together everything Nebraska wants to do. Even defensively, Rink Mass isn't a huge shot blocker, but his court awareness, his positioning, his kind of pre-rotations, that's huge. But then you could say, okay, well, Bearcat Buchtenjo is Nebraska's identity because he got bigger. He allowed Nebraska to get to Big Ten size. But then you could say, well, I don't know. Bryce Sanford could be the identity, or Braden Frager could be the identity because, maybe Nebraska is just going to kind of plod along for a while. But then there's that spurtability from those guys, right? The ability to flip that switch and go on, a kill shot, a 10-0 run in the span of 4 possessions, So I get what people are saying, and I'm not trying to knock or disrespect, Sam Hoiberg, who's playing his role above and beyond for Nebraska this year. Another incredible game for him. But I think it's too reductive to just say Sam Hoiberg is the identity or Rink Mass is the identity when the thing that makes Nebraska men's basketball so good this year is the fact that they have so many different pieces working together and so many aspects that you can point to as a reason why they're successful.
Yeah, I think, you can't be wrong in, whoever you say the identity is. I think one thing is Sam Hoiberg is the standard.
Sure. I agree with that.
And identity, I think identity is a holistic thing. What are you known for? Obviously, this is a team that's very efficient on offense. And then obviously, very efficient on defense. So efficiency, that's what, if you want to attach a player to that, I would, whoever's their most efficient player, there's
probably Sanford right now.
Yeah, I was going to say Sanford. And
Mass at his peak.
Right. Rink Mass when he's going. And then obviously Sam as well. So, the conversations that Nebraska's having right now about Nebraska, around Nebraska basketball are so funny because whether it was last year or the year before, and obviously 4 or 5 years ago, the conversations would have never, you have to think, people used to question, would Fred ever win here?
Yeah.
Would Nebraska ever be ranked again? There's no way you can have a good basketball school and a football school, and be successful. And now it's like, okay, where are we going to go for the first round of the NCAA tournament?
We get to pick our spots, what it feels like.
And somewhat. It's going to be probably, right now, it looks like it'd be a 2 seed. So just right away after the Rutgers game, you're going to West Coast, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really cool. I'm really happy for those kids. I'm really happy for Fred and Nate and all those guys and Ernie that they've done a really good job of weathering the storm, but then finding their way to kind of recreate their identity, right? And the identity that they recreated is what's a Husker need, or what a Husker basketball player is, and then they went out and for the most part is recruited to those attributes, whatever they discovered that's going to be, big part of the program moving forward. You're seeing it, 12-point victory. I think that a lot of people that are mad, they must probably got some money on it. That's when people really get mad.
Right.
Yo, you won, but you didn't cover. No, are you mad? Are you happy or you sad? Now I get it if you lose a little money, but I think Nebraska, sure. I guess I'll take a little bit of a bite off of that apple. Sure. Could they finish a little bit better? I can get with that.
But every coach is going to say that all the time.
Right. But I think once you've done it against Washington and all that, and depending what lineups in there versus what they have in there, I think Nebraska is just fine.
Let's hit our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line here. Troy in Lincoln says Nebraska either got bored or started looking ahead to Purdue. Maybe, but I doubt it. Sometimes you just turn the ball over. And this was a game where Nebraska took pretty good care of the ball. They had 6 turnovers, and I think 2 of them came later. They rushed a shot, missed a shot, and Rutgers got some easy ones and one there. You turn the ball over 6 times, and then you compare that to 19 assists on 30 made field goals. So you're assisting on 2/3 of your buckets, which is pretty darn good. And you have a 3.3 to 1 assist to turnover ratio when you shoot for 2.5 to 1 is what Fred Hoiberg has said. The turnovers just came late in the game, right? Yeah. What if Nebraska had been up 8 and then scored the last 4 to make the 12-point game at the free throw line? So be it. Cubsker says, I don't think it was much of a complaint on my end as it was supposed to be an expectation. I watch a lot of teams stay up 15 plus when they're up by 20 in the second half. Okay, the difference between 12 and 15 is 1 shot, is 1 possession. So right. I think that's a little nitpicky. And Jay, I'll throw this example out here too. Iowa State was up double digits with a minute to go on Baylor, only won that one by 3.
It can happen.
And that was, that's an Iowa State team that ranks ahead of everyone. And sure, Baylor's probably better than Rutgers. Almost assuredly, but Iowa State has looked dominant for the better part of, 3 weeks now. And even they, almost let it slip. It happens. Nebraska kept Rutgers at arm's length. It kind of like the Super Bowl we'll talk about. Yeah, sure, maybe there's a dent made into the lead. But more importantly, did Nebraska ever feel threatened? I would argue no.
Yeah, I think it happens all the time. And I think if you want to just look at that snapshot of that part of the game and draw a big conclusion, that's just what you want to do.
Yeah.
And sure, you want to finish a little bit better, but also I think that, the cause and effect, if you get in that situation again in a tighter game, is going to be significantly different.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it's a good, motivator. It's a good, practice tool. It's a good kind of look-see or whatever you want to call it. I think it's good. But ultimately, I like these conversations after a win.
Mm-hmm.
A good, really good performance. All your players contributed after 2 tough losses.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk like these guys were ready to go, especially have a little bit of scar tissue from being out there, and struggling at times, and being able to go out there and put it on them pretty quick. I mean, right from the get-go, you could tell, okay, Nebraska is just a matter of, it's not if, but when, and they did a really good job.
Well, and you can even, Troy and Lincoln says, Austin, how about the best defensive team in the nation? North Carolina, only 1 foul in the whole second half. Duke was up 12 at half. Nebraska was up 14 at half. And again, Carolina's better than Rutgers, and it's a rivalry game, but road game, a team that most people would tell you was better than Nebraska in Duke, let it slip away, let it dwindle, and found a way to lose that game. Nebraska found a way to win, and I would still say it's a comfortable win. Like, these, Jay, are just the normal ups and downs of a college basketball game in the midst of the ups and downs of a college basketball season that you're in the dog days of right now, right? You think about football, you get to that kind of mid-October, early November, man, when's the time for the stretch run? That's where you're at with college basketball right now. There's a month left till you go to the Big Ten tournament. At this point, it's just fight through it. Find ways to get wins. And the fact that Nebraska, didn't play a perfect second half, but still never let that lead, dip down to single digits. Hey, that's mission accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, they're fine. I mean, it's kind of just making points to talk. I think you need to just really look at, I'd rather talk about, okay, well, you got 4 of your starters played over 30 minutes. Where can we break up some of that? Is that, where is Garcia and where's my man, Mr. Curtis, and all that? So,
Leo will be out tomorrow. He's fighting through some stuff.
But
right
even
yes.
like Garcia, for a game like that against, you would like to see him against Rutgers, and then obviously who knows with Purdue.
Well, it's 2 straight DNPs.
Right. And so you got to figure out that, because as we've seen, you're going to need more guys than maybe 7 guys, but they were in a good rhythm. They're well equipped to do so. It should be a good performance, tomorrow night, and it's going to be a more than game an opponent. So keep on, I want this conversation again on Wednesday. Dang, Nebraska had a double-digit lead, and they only won by like 8 or 6. That's horrible.
Who do they think they are?
Yeah, that's a horrible victory.
Are we sure this team can be a 2 seed?
Coach Fred, this is horrible. You know what I mean? You won by 12 points. You're up by mid to high 20s or mid to high teens, and how dare you only win by 12?
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah.
Unmasked texter, Rink Mass is a poor man's Sabonis, Arvydas Sabonis from the Portland Trailblazers. You seen that one? Oh yeah, I've seen the highlights.
He's not. He probably doesn't.
Better than his son, that's for sure.
He probably doesn't pass the ball like with as much flair as Arvydas did, but he was getting to that jump hook on him though.
Hey,
and then he hit you with a little bit of a little half dream shake on you too,
right?
Then got into it. I like it. I think I like the inside outside game with him. I like that he plays it on his own pace, and it worked out for him. It's good to see him back on the right track. Played extended minutes, so that all the work that he was working on, tried to get healthy, for Illinois. Didn't work out well, but he stayed to it, and that's a testament to him and testament to the support team that helped him get back in basketball shape, but then also kept his skills right.
Yeah, Fred Hoiberg talked a bunch about that. He had his pre-Purdue press conference today, Jay, and Purdue, like last year, has been a really bad 2-point defense, especially recently. It almost cost him at times against High Point in the tournament last year. Not exactly what you think of when you think of a Matt Painter team. Now, it's certainly different, right? Without the 7'4", human redwood tree that Zach Edey was there in the middle for Purdue. Kind of like Creighton, right? Losing a guy like Kalkbrenner. So much of your defensive scheme is built around this key contributor. They're down him. Obviously, last year didn't find a way to to make it work consistently in the middle with Trey Kaufman. Wren playing his fair share of 5, but especially at the 4. They get some reinforcements in the form of Daniel Jacobson, who comes off a knee injury from last year. He's 7 foot plus, still kind of growing into his role. They get a really productive double guy transfer in the post, Oscar Clough from Purdue. But Jay, just like when Purdue had, or from a South Dakota State to join Purdue, but just like, when Nebraska took down number 1 Purdue 2 seasons ago now with Casey Tominaga, I think it's going to be the Rink Mass show, right? Rink Mass ability to stretch the floor, stretch big men from Oregon, from Illinois, and even a little bit from, I think, Michigan, have given Purdue some fits. Or maybe that game's coming up, but the point remains the same. This is another big Rink Mass game. If Nebraska needs to go to him in the post, great. But what's given Purdue fits is that ability of the big man to be a credible threat out there, because then Purdue has not done as good a job as you would think, as a well-coached team. Like Matt Painter's a great coach, of staying connected defensively, of communicating, just getting lost more often than you might anticipate for a team like that.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. And I think Fred does a good job of getting Rink early in the game some looks, and Rink's, he should be confident and really, put it up there. And if he can hit a 3 or 2, that's going to open up the 2-point and the mid-range and all the stuff that Fred likes to do with secondary cuts, back cuts, face cuts, all that stuff, pin action, pin wheel action. I mean, he does it. I mean, listen, when you get ready for this offense, you better be on it. And,
right.
That's going to be huge. And then also it's going to be huge to try to use Rink's, hopefully, success to find ways to attack Braden Smith.
Yeah.
Because I think the more that you're able to attack him, even though he's a pretty good defender or decent enough for defender, I feel like you can up his turnover ratio by 1 or 2, and that could be the difference in the game. And teams that have been able to attack him and kind of keep him at bay and not allow him to be – I always say there's a – how they have a pitch count, I always say there's like a pitch count / defense account for a player like Braden Smith or players of that caliber, because and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's one for LeBron, there's one for Kyrie, there's one, there's everybody has it. So you got to find that and then being able to try to exploit it and then do a good job and going from there. And then also once you find it, you don't have to keep going back to that well. You save it to your, when you need it in your back pocket, because that's when you're going to need it the most crucial.
Yeah.
Crucials.
Purdue lost 3 in a row to end the month of January. They lost at UCLA, lost at home to Illinois, and then went on the road and lost to Indiana. They bounced back with a huge win on the road at Maryland. One close over Oregon, 68-64. Starts a big stretch for them, Jay. They're projected by Ken Pomeroy to lose their next 3 games, all tight, but Nebraska, Iowa, and Michigan, 2 of those 3 away from home, are all projected losses. And then even after that, Indiana, Michigan State, Ohio State in the next 3. Big stretch for a Purdue team that still fashions itself as a player in the Big Ten conference race. Fred Hoiberg will always talk about the activity in the hand deflections for Nebraska. Going to be tough to come by against a guy like Braden Smith, who takes such good care of the ball, and a team like Purdue that's really built its offensive identity on, sharing that ball around. And they're pretty good in terms of their positional size as well. So like Illinois, Nebraska's going to have to find ways to manufacture those deflections outside of the way they were maybe able to against a Rutgers team that Nebraska matched up, a little more similarly in terms of the size.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to come in here and force 20 turnovers against these dudes. And so if you can get them up to where I think they're averaging 9 a game, if you can get them up to 12, that's a really good job. But you can't get to 12 before you get to 9.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the worst case scenario is let's keep them on pace. Then let's really try to get it to where we're playing with bonus time. And if you're able to do that, you got to figure out where they like to get into their offense, what actions they like to do, and then when they like and how they like to get to it. They're going to run the same majority of the same actions. They might have an adjustment based on because they know Nebraska's a pretty good defensive team. You got to be able to adjust on the fly. This is going to be, I'm assuming, a really raucous crowd, right?
Gonna have to be.
Right. It's going to be. What time is the game? Is it
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock. It's going to be a pretty, good or intense, environment. So communication is going to be key, but then also communication and adjustment by the players because they're out there playing is going to be key because they're going to have to use everything that Fred and them taught them to get through this game.
Last thing before we go to break and call up Brian Munson of Husker Online, Jay, Fred Hoiberg also mentioned that Purdue shows a lot of different schemes defensively. When you hear that, does that tell you that they like to keep opponents off balance or they haven't found one that works?
Ooh. Well, I think with Zach Edey, they're keeping you off balance. I think they're still trying to find their sweet spot. And there's nothing wrong with that. because it's worked out. They're the number 13th ranked team. It was 19-4, I think.
Yeah.
And so you could be building towards something as you get to the Big Ten tournament and tournament time, because then by that time you'll have enough self-scouting and obviously numbers and, all that stuff and data to know what you can lean on. But ultimately, once you get into the big tournament or even the Big Ten tournament, you're going to have to go back to what you did anyway. So you really, I think it's a positive, but this is a different Purdue team because Zach Edey seemed like he was there forever and he was a problem on both ends. That is your defense.
Yeah.
You want to shoot mid-range? Well, here's 7'4" or whatever he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so they don't really have that, guy, and he's hard to obviously replace. And so I think they're trying, and not trying stuff, but I think they're trying to feel like, okay, because this is not, I wouldn't say it's a new team, but when you have a lot of transfers in, it is somewhat a new team. So even though, say, somebody played a certain way somewhere else, you have to be a good enough coach to adjust your scheme or create a scheme that's going to be effective for everybody. And then you got to go do that and move forward.
Nebraska, Purdue coming up tomorrow at 6. We'll certainly talk more about that one as it draws closer. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We'll go to break, call with Brian Munson of Husker Online to wrap up the 2026 recruiting class and turn our eyes to 2027. That's next on Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Just got the brakes fixed on my car today.
You did? You haven't even left the office.
I didn't need to. I got a guy who picks up my car and drops it off when it's done.
Well, who's your guy?
Graham Tire. They have pickup and delivery service at all 5 of their Lincoln locations.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Gentlemen, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Don't be that guy running to the store for flowers and a card on your way home. Let Sartor Heyman Jewelers help you be a hero this Valentine's Day. We have great gifts in store now, and if you spend $129, we'll throw in a free bouquet of roses. Give her what she really wants this year and let us do the rest. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, your hometown jeweler since 1905. In Lincoln and Grand Island and online at sartorheyman.com.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
No one's ever explained it this way. That's what we hear at Trade-Offs when you finally see how today's crop insurance tools work with your grain marketing plan, not in isolation. With hail and wind rates increasing and margins already tight, it's time to challenge how you look at crop insurance. It's time to ask better questions. It's time to call Trade-Offs. Call us at 402-858-7501 or visit gotradeus.com to start the conversation. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trade-Offs, ingrained in your success. No, seriously, give us a call.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovebneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back into Old School. Austin Foreman, Jay Foreman with you. 3:30 on a Monday means we are headed to our Allo Fiber VIP line, where we welcome in Brian Munson of Husker Online, our Husker football recruiting insider. Brian, you're alive. Thank goodness. We're glad you're back.
It was not an ideal week to get sick, obviously, with that last signing day going on and everything else. But no, we made it through, and we were pretty healthy for Super Bowl. We're still kind of shaking it off here a little bit left and right. But yes, I am happy to talk to you today.
Let's go ahead and wrap up that 2026 recruiting class for Nebraska. You mentioned signing day last week. Only a little bit of intrigue for Nebraska on that one. They landed defensive tackle Dylan Berryman, the 4-star, but they lost quarterback Tanner Vivabole. What went into both of those decisions?
Well, with Dylan, I think the big thing was that, Nebraska did a really good job closing him out the week up to signing day. He was supposedly going to be back for the junior day, and then things got tricky with Florida entering the picture. Florida wanted to get him to take a visit. Then he decided he was just going to stay home and he wasn't going to visit anywhere. Well, I think then that as, you kind of got through that period, I think Nebraska fans started feeling good again. And then Kentucky re-entered the picture on Tuesday night. And it was an NIL deal. In Nebraska, I think, had to do some things there to kind of make sure they were still going to get him, but they stepped up and were able to get, I think, a really good size 6'2.5", 6'3", 330-pound, high school defensive tackle. And I think that there's some other things that are important there. I think obviously that Berryman is a very capable guy that can play the 3 or the 1 for Nebraska. But I think the other side too is just the importance of just, having a better effort into Louisiana to get players out. I mean, that's the first guy to commit to Nebraska from Louisiana since A.J. Allen. Woo. And I think that was a little bit shocking to kind of pull those details together. It's been a minute, and Nebraska has always traditionally done pretty good down there. I mean, they would have gotten Leon Doyle out of the, basically before he decided to flip to Mississippi State. But not getting anybody since A.J. Allen was a little surprising. So good pickup with Berryman. Then you mentioned Vivabole leaving Nebraska's commitment list. So he's a guy that, that as you and I kind of spoke about 2026 quarterback after Dayton Loyola decommitment, it didn't seem like Nebraska had much of a path to get into the equation there for anybody. But, they go out to Las Vegas, they learn about Tanner, they get connected with, his coach. He takes a visit to Nebraska. He gets an offer from the Huskers. He commits on that Sunday, and then things obviously went pretty quiet. I mean, this is a guy that had an offer from like Arkansas State and like the service academies, and really nothing there, I think, generally to be too concerned with until James Madison came around and was throwing him NIL money instead of just a scholarship offer. And so there wasn't any money, there for him, from Nebraska. It was just more of a scholarship kind of situation. That, I think, in the end was the big deciding factor for him. I think it's, if I had to go ahead and praise him a little bit, it probably made a lot of sense for him to go ahead and do what he did, because I don't know if you go to Lincoln now and you sit the bench, your 4th string, you're going to maybe going to move to 3rd in December, but then you got Trey Taylor coming to town, and you just aren't going to ever see the field and put any type of like real reps together to where you could go, hit the portal and really, promote yourself to stay at that Division I level. So I think for him, it was the right thing to do. I don't have really too many concerns or problems like with that thought process there. I like the idea of him being in the room, rather than not. But I think in the end, personally, I think it was a good decision by him to go ahead and decide to go someplace else.
Perfectly defensible. Wish the young man nothing but the best. But it to me, Brian, just kind of continued the off season of, kind of raise your eyebrow sort of moves for Nebraska, which even if they're the right moves for everyone that's made them, then just kind of a weird vibe around the offseason. I think that just kind of continued it. You don't see Nebraska lose prospects to James Madison often.
It doesn't look great. The optic there is not good. But I think when you dig into the details about it, when you start talking about it was a scholarship versus scholarship plus NIL, and I think then you dig into that next layer that we kind of broke down again, where you give him a chance to, I think, go to a better place to where he could potentially put some film together, get some reps, out there to where he could, improve his situation. I think the only way that he'd be able to do that and stay at the Division I level is to go to James Madison. I don't feel like he was going to have much of an opportunity ever to do that in Lincoln. I think he would have been outgunned by the time December came around, because, based on everything that like Trey Taylor is doing when it comes to junior day, moving to Nebraska, going to be around the team basically every time that there's not a dead period, for the next, 10 months. I think that that's really telling everybody what they need to know about Trey. I think he's very dedicated, and I think that that's going to be very difficult to kind of beat when you take a dedicated individual like that, and he's so talented on top of it.
One more wrapping up 2026 then, Brian. Nebraska ends the cycle rated number 93 in the country with 11 prospects. In your memory, has Nebraska ever landed that few players and ranked that low?
Nope. This is a first. There was a year. I'll have to go back maybe I'll text you with the details. There was a year where I want to say maybe they didn't get to, maybe they just got to 15. But I mean, this is clearly the lowest rated class I've ever dealt with. It's clearly the lowest number of commitments I've ever seen them take. I think, what's newsworthy here is that you still have, I think it's 27, 28 between the class and the portal guys. Mm-hmm. So you're still getting roughly your 25 new faces that you kind of anticipate. It's just, it's coming a little bit differently now. It's in two pieces. So two different swim lanes of newcomers are coming to Nebraska with that more high school organic kind of thing versus like your more traditional, I would say, kind of like free agent, NFL. So you get the draft and then you got like your free agency line. Right? So there's two different lanes that people are getting their players from.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online here with us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Turning the page now to 2027, Brian, that's a class that's off to a really strong start with Nebraska rated number 7 right now, 6 prospects already committed. Has this 2027 class been one that Nebraska's eyed as an important one for a while?
Has to be. I mean, you don't go from like putting together that number 97 class, 93rd class, I guess it is now, and not think that you have to really turn it on, this season. So I think the numbers are finally going to be back to where they can kind of do it. They're going to be a year older across the board. And I think that was another reason why, Nebraska did what they did, within the class, where you had 11 high school guys and mainly portal guys to join the roster. So you're adding now. I think you're getting right back into where, a team would be to kind of build that roster back up again. You're going to add another solid 20 guys or so, to your roster. So I think you got your 6 now, you're probably looking to add between, 14, maybe 15 or 16 more. And then kind of fill it out with portal transfer guys after that. This is a very important group, and I think that while you mentioned that they have a great start, I think it's also kind of you need to talk about like the junior day, the guys that were there. I think the coaches, the new coaches in particular, like Jeep Wade, been very impressed obviously with him and his recruiting in a very short amount of time he's been there in Lincoln. This seems to be a group of coaches now that is very dedicated, I think, on making sure that this class is really good. And I like obviously having Taylor and Kay Ellis move to Nebraska to kind of dedicate their time to helping put together the class themselves. It just shows that that they're in it to win it too. They want to make sure they're getting the best class pulled together they possibly can as well.
I put Jeep Wade effect ? In my notes. You beat me to it. And starting there on offense, it seems like Nebraska does have its foot in the door with a number of those top offensive linemen, including Mark Matthews, Albert Simeon, and Kennedy Brown, among others. Is that the Jeep Wade effect? Has Nebraska had these guys on its radar for a while, or these new connections with Coach Wade coming in?
I think that some of the names that you mentioned, obviously Nebraska's been in on a while. I think, however, you're talking about such elite guys that it's, you need to have a recruiting guy on there that's really dedicated, that's going to up the amount of conversation and communication, to make sure that the players are obviously hearing from Nebraska as much as they possibly can. If you go back and look at a guy like Tyler Kuhn from St. Pius 10 in Kansas City, Missouri, visited Nebraska for Junior Day. I don't think Nebraska I think Nebraska would have probably really been struggling to kind of make his list, I think, at the end of last year. I didn't feel like Nebraska was doing a great job in that space. And he said as much during Junior Day that Jeep Wade has really turned things around with him in Nebraska, that he gets a text message every day like, hey, have a great day, do great in school, work hard. And then he gets that one phone call a week that he can get. So I think that's very, very important, to kind of make sure that, Jeep Wade is getting his name out there as being a guy that I think is doing a great job recruiting. But I think that, like another thing to bring up here real quick is the name Barrett Cottrell. I don't think anybody really thought that there would be another offer to an in-state player, and then an offer goes out to Barrett Cottrell once Jeep Wade comes to town. Jeep Wade likes everything about Cottrell on film, and I personally do too. I think Cottrell is a heck of a player, but the part that I think Nebraska is really in love with when it comes to Cottrell is just his athleticism and his explosiveness, and you get that from kind of looking at his track numbers and the fact that he plays basketball. So I think Wade's got his eyes, open a little bit differently maybe than the previous people that were evaluating offensive linemen. And that intrigues me. And I think it's also very intriguing the fact that how well he recruits and how much he communicates with the recruits. I mean, it's definitely paying off right now in Nebraska in the short term.
The defensive side of the ball then has a bunch of guys in the back seven, maybe not as much up front. As you look at Nebraska's board on defense, obviously with a 5-star safety, Torrey Pittman, already in the fold. What does that 27 board look like for Nebraska defensively right now, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the board was pretty light. I think coming back from like your Junior Day visit, it was, that was mainly like bring the 5 guys in. You brought in a few offensive linemen. So I think that as we're kind of moving towards, continuing to reevaluate and look at guys that they're bringing in, I think you have to look at that the group, of course, that they brought in, basically leading up. Into the season, and you got guys like at the second level, like Kobe Rhymes is a big one off the top of my head from North Kansas City High School. He's got guys all the way from like Ohio State, that are interested in talking to him. So that's a big one for Nebraska to kind of make sure they stay on top of. You got some other players like the guys that visited late in the season, like a Brandon Lockley. Like it's going to be a very tough poll. And I know Nebraska, was able to host like Aaron Washington from IMG Academy. Well, he recently committed to USC. It's becoming, a very busy time, I think, right now for Nebraska, for schools in general to kind of keep getting commitments right now. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. Nebraska's a little bit behind the ball there. But you got like Kennedy Green from Douglas County, Georgia. I would put Nebraska is like really running as either like the one or the two with him. And then a guy that I put my prediction in for recently is Florida State decommitment Bryce Williams from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Interesting, about him. He's visited Nebraska a couple of times. And he's got tremendous connections, obviously, back, to the players in the class. I think it's, interesting because he has got some really strong schools, trying to get him to take a look at them. Like Texas was there the day after Nebraska was, after I put my prediction in for him. So there are some really outstanding players there on the back half that they're looking at. And, they've got a commitment already on the defensive line. But they are still going to be looking for some guys up front. Samaj Stanford's another guy, a safety guy from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. He's visited Nebraska, I think, 6 or 7 times. And mostly that's because of Mosey. Mosey's been doing such a great job recruiting him since he came over from Central Florida. So essentially, he was the one that offered Stanford, and really kicked off that relationship between he and Nebraska. So Mosey's doing a great job recruiting him. They're doing really well on guys in the back half. They're doing really well with guys obviously on the offensive side of the football as well.
One more on the defensive side. We heard today that Tavares Harrington is going to be visiting Nebraska as well. Bunch of good offers for him. He's already got visits lined up to Alabama, Georgia, and Michigan, still setting that date for Nebraska. He's from Mount Carmel, Illinois, which is different than Carmel, Illinois, where Trey Taylor is coming from, correct?
I think that's the Mount Carmel. It is. Is that the you're catching me off guard here a little bit. I'm trying to think where Claude and Puma was from. Very similar-ish. Hold on one second here. Looking it up. So,
it is.
Harrington, yeah. So Mount Carmel, that's where Puma's from. Mount Carmel. Harrington has a connection back through Trey Taylor, obviously through Chicago, right? And I think they were both out in Las Vegas competing for 7-on-7 this last weekend, so they know each other. Harrington's got some big time offers. I mean, that is a long cornerback. I think he's 6'2". Like, I think he's got some great length. And obviously, I think those guys that are really good at 7-on-7 that are skill position players, I think it helps them out a bunch when it comes to putting on the pads and playing on Friday nights. That to me, I think is very important. I think a lot of people kind of say that's all on air, and it's not. I mean, as long as you got your releases right and you can handle all that stuff, I think you start talking about like just, ways to create separation, great route running, good coverage, good skills overall. That's a great way to kind of showcase all that. And so if you're good in that space right there, I think it really helps you to be great on Friday night. So Harrington, yeah, I think that's a guy that Nebraska can get there on campus. I think Nebraska always improves their chances once they can get those guys on campus. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the part there that Trey Taylor kind of knows for himself. So I think that's the part where it's really going to assist the Huskers to have Trey Taylor helping them out when it comes to recruiting.
That's Nebraska football recruiting insider Brian Munson of Husker Online with us here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Brian, glad you're back on your feet, up and moving around, and thanks for your time, and congrats on the Patriots' loss in the Super Bowl.
I was waiting for you to say it, brother. All right, thank you.
That's Brian Munson with us again with Husker Online, joining us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We'll wrap up hour one with a look around the Husker weekend that was, and then dive into the Super Bowl. Full Seahawks reaction, full Patriots reaction, commercials, halftime, whatever's on your mind from the Super Bowl. We'll take your thoughts in hour two.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, Business Development Officer at Midwest Bank's Lincoln branches. As a lifelong Lincolnite with over 30 years of experience in financial management, I'm here to help your business grow and succeed. My focus is building strong relationships with businesses and clients across Lincoln. Because at Midwest Bank, we believe banking is about people, not just numbers. Visit us at midwest.bank or stop by one of our Lincoln locations. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down. The snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Join the club today and get your first month free. Just $1 down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, February 13th.
See club for details.
Hey there, this is Paul Shield, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've bbeen serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Get inspired at the 54th Annual Home and Garden Show, February 13th through the 15th at Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. $10 admission. Let the experts bring your home projects to life. Learn more at hbal.org.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with a bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G16518. $2,500 down with proof credit.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you. Big thanks to Brian Munson of Husker Online for hopping on our Aloe Fiber VIP line. Big thanks to Heartland of Nebraska Windows for sponsoring hour one of the show. They're locally based in Hallam, Nebraska. They have all sorts of great stuff going on, including free estimates, full window replacements, lifetime warranties on everything, and affordable prices. Give them a call at 402-430-3852. You can also visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. It wasn't a glass window. It was maybe a glass ceiling for Nebraska or Northwestern wrestling against Nebraska, Jay. They come in as Nebraska's senior day opponent and get shut out.
Yeah.
In wrestling, 10-0, but more importantly, 47-0.
Is that a record?
I have no idea, but it's got to be close.
47? The thing's going to be
nothing.
Now you got Nebraska scoring records going on.
Man.
Yeah. That's pretty, that's pretty amazing. You got to give congrats to them. And, they kind of been going through a little bit of a lull, not lull, but, obviously having high expectations coming off last year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're going from the hunter to the hunted. And that's a different type of, process that you go through. But it's good to have something where they were Mark Manning and the coaching staff was probably expecting them to be very dominant, right? And they had an opportunity to be dominant, and they went out and did it. So that's a step in the right direction, big time. So.
Speaking of high expectations entering the year, Husker softball, they go 3-2 on the weekend. They win their season opener 8-5 over Washington. They split with number 1 Texas. They lose it 15-10 on Friday night, come back Saturday morning and win it 8-5. Beat UTSA on Saturday, but wrap up the weekend with a 3-2 loss to Washington. But Jay, if you look at those two opponents that Nebraska played twice, they outscore Washington 10-8. They get outscored by Texas, the number 1 team in the country, only by 2 runs, lose on aggregate. Then it would be 20-18. Pretty good opening showing, I would say, for Husker softball. And again, with cold weather team traveling south, any of these games early on just going to boost your RPI for down the road.
Yeah, for sure. And look, again, just like Nebraska wrestling, obviously with Jordy Ball and company, and I think they're just not just Jordy Ball and a bunch of schmucks. They're a heck of a team, well coached. You have different expectations and standard coming in this season, and I like it because they embrace the challenge, even though they're not. Well, obviously, we're not a hot weather school or area. They went down there and played some good softball and had some big victories, and so I'm excited. I mean, have you ever been to softball?
Actually,
over there?
I called a game actually back in the day. So it's a heck of an environment.
It is. It's a great environment. They have a very good following. Mm-hmm. It's an action-packed game.
Yeah, my dad used to coach softball.
It's fun to. It's like fun to watch. Mm-hmm. I took my oldest daughter over there. It was pretty cool, man. I'm happy for them. Again, they've done a really good job. And then anytime you get big victories, they I call it like putting those points in your back pocket, little power pellets. So when you need them, just in case you're in a lull, you kind of stay even.
Power pellets also go in your Traeger, right?
Yeah, the wood pellet. Yeah.
Wood pellets.
Yeah, with cherry wood today.
Different kind of pellets. But cherry wood today? Okay.
Maybe a little ribs.
All right, got a couple hours to plan it out. But
I got options. Everything's all laid out, Austin. Come on now.
I figured. Just had to hear it from your mouth. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. This is hour 1 of Old School drawing to a close. 2 more hours still to go. Next hour, we're diving into the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the winning Seahawks first, the losing Patriots then at 4:30. Your thoughts all hour long. 402-464-5685. More of Old School after this.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Norman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Join the club today and get your first month free. Just $1 down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, February 13th.
See club for details.
Bundle up, bring your crew, and make this winter one for the books with Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st at Beer House. Enjoy winter brews that will tangle with your taste buds, polka dancing, games like Hammerschlagen and Stein Stamina, and more. Bach beer will be flowing, and sausages and pretzels will be available for purchase. Doors open at 11 a.m. and the party goes outside until 6 p.m. before moving inside. VIP tickets are $75, but just $10 gets you in the door. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st.
This This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gentlemen, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Don't be that guy running to the store for flowers and a card on your way home. Let Sartor Heyman Jewelers help you be a hero this Valentine's Day. We have great gifts in store now, and if you spend $129, we'll throw in a free bouquet of roses. Give her what she really wants this year and let us do the rest. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, your hometown jeweler since 1905. In Lincoln and Grand Island and online at sartorheyman.com.
No one's ever explained it this way. That's what we hear at Trade-Offs when you finally see how today's crop insurance tools work with your grain marketing plan, not in isolation. With hail and wind rates increasing and margins already tight, it's time to challenge how you look at crop insurance. It's time to ask better questions. It's time to call Trade-Offs. Call us at 402-858-7501 or visit gotradeoffs.com to start the conversation. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trade-Offs, ingrained in your success. No, seriously, give us a call.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here we go, hour 2 of Old School, chatting Super Bowl 60 all the way through. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you. Brought to you as always by Graham Tire. They've been proudly serving the Midwest for 75 years. They're more than just tires. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. 402-464-5685. We want your thoughts on the Super Bowl. A controlled victory for the Seattle Seahawks. Jay will break this up into two parts, focusing on Seattle, the victors here in this first segment. Seattle now 2 for 4 in Super Bowl appearances. Won it back in 2013, and now the Super Bowl played just last night. First thing I think that's going to stand out, Jay, is that Seattle defense, with Mike McDonald becoming the first primary defensive play caller to win a Super Bowl as a head coach, and 78 total yards for the Patriots through 3 quarters. 6 sacks, could have had 7 if not for that fumble that turned into an interception. New England had no answers because Seattle kept rewriting the test on them.
Yeah, I mean, it was if you're a defensive coach, and I don't even like saying defensive coach, I think you're a good coach, and obviously especially his defense, and he's fine with playing really good defense and beating you 40-0. But if you're a defensive minded head coach and how they've been able to play, this game couldn't have went any better any better than you could plan. And so they led with their defense. They are everything that they are been made up to be. But it's not just the defense. Mm-hmm. It's the special teams. They spent the most money, I think, this year on their specialists. It showed
$9 million.
Right. So they have that. So that's essentially doubling down on. That's an extra bonus to your offense and defense. Mm. And then offensively, sure, Sam Darnold was 50%, but it was more than really efficient. And you're going against a really good pass defense or potential pass defense as with the New England Patriots, but he kept them on time and on target. And then right from the get-go, Kenneth Walker III was able to get busy. And, and he kept it up all game. He was able to do some things, a couple big catches out of the backfield. He had a long 20-yard one. That's an explosive play out of a player that you don't. So it's all the bonus things that he was able to do. Our boy A.J. Barner got a touchdown. How
about Albert Javante?
Albert Javante did his thing. Everybody contributed. The guys that were supposed to be your productive guys and your superstars, like Devin Witherspoon, he's the problem because he's the number one lockdown corner, but he kills you in the slot, hits like a linebacker. He had a sack. He had obviously a couple tackles for loss, a couple pass defense. So that's there. Ernest Jones, who was a all-pro, double-digit tackle for loss. And then you had Derek Hall, which I think is emergence. He's like Milton Williams was last year for the Eagles. A really good year, maybe overshadowed by some really high-profile players. Mm-hmm. And there's not a better chance to have a coming-out party than in the Super Bowl. And then obviously Byron Murphy, who's a big-time draft pick. He was dominant up the middle. And then you have DeMarcus Lawrence, and then you got Leonard Williams. So when you look at this team, there's no weaknesses. They can lock you down with Witherspoon and Wooten or Woolen. Yeah. And then they got great safety play, obviously. With my man Nick, I'll just call him Nick E. It was probably, when I'm thinking about that hybrid safety, he's a younger, bigger version than Jalen Ramsey is now with that's because that's how Pittsburgh kind of plays him.
Yeah.
Remember when it was like Marlon Humphrey when he was doing it in
Baltimore,
and they got number 14,
Kyle Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. So he's probably that new age. He's probably faster than Kyle Hamilton. He can actually cover in the slot. So he's a problem. I mean, he erases a lot of things. So it was complete dominance. It wasn't an aesthetically pleasing game. Started out kind of like as I wouldn't say a dud, but very slow pace. It was kind of like when the Patriots beat the Rams. And then it got obviously more explosive towards the end of the game.
It did. 3 former Jets win a Super Bowl, right? Sam Darnold, obviously among them, Leonard Williams, and then Jason Myers.
Right.
Who ends up with 17 points, I think, on the day, if my math is correct. Big day for him. There's some intrigue at the end. Would you give the Super Bowl MVP to a kicker or to Kenneth Williams? Jay, I do want to go back to Devin Witherspoon here, right? Mm-hmm. Top 5 pick in the draft out of Illinois. Nebraska saw him up close and personal. But the reason I brought up that, Seattle changed the test on the Patriots is Mike McDonald brought back something he hadn't done in a month. Not since week 12 had Devin Witherspoon been sent on a blitz. Yeah. Seattle deployed him, in the slot at some points, outside a little bit. Then they snuck him up on the line of scrimmage. He was so good as a blitzer, caused some havoc. New England didn't have any answer for him at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, New England struggled, obviously, to protect the passer just with the 4-man rush.
He was pressured 48% of the time, Drake May was, when the Seahawks only sent 4.
Right, and so that's a problem there. So from an offensive line coach and a coordinator standpoint, you're really really passive. And then Devin Witherspoon, who can play on the line of scrimmage, and he had 3 quarterback hits, and he can hit though. He will hit you.
Oh,
and he's had some big hits. He had huge hits at Illinois. He had huge hits in the pros, and it's really a cool story that he brought up back a defense from a month ago. But there has to be some continuity from what he saw with that team a month ago that he used it against in the Patriots. But also, I think the really good thing is he leaned on his players, his gamers.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they felt comfortable with, I guess, their number 3 corner and their number 2 corner on the outside.
Yeah.
Because if you had, Jamar Chase and, T. Higgins out there.
You're not leaving me on that island. You're
leaving Witherspoon outside. So really, styles make fights, circumstances make them perfect. And that's what, happened here. And, it paid off like gangbusters. And, for him and Mike McDonald, I mean, he's got to be proud because he's the main play caller. He manifested this and the defense led the way. And, for whether it's him or anybody else, winning the Super Bowl is obviously a tremendous achievement. And they seem to get better though. Remember in the last week of the season, they were playing for the number 1 seed. And the 2 times they played the Rams, it was a 1-point game. And then they looked different. And then they had the bye. And then usually you're like, oh, Seattle's right for the picking, right? For upset. And they just whatever it was, they found their rhythm and they became dominant. The offensive line, the tight end blocking. And that's what really, I think, makes it go. Their offensive line is good, very good. Both of their tight ends are excellent, in line and out in space blockers. And they are physical as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're explosive enough, and because JSN got tweaked up a little bit, and it's really good to have your backup is Cooper Kupp,
Right.
Probably a Hall of Fame guy. If he gets another couple big years.
Ooh, he might be already though.
I want to solidify. I'm talking about And really, to be honest,
he's got a case now.
Yeah, he's got a really good case now. Let's get it excellent. Even with his excellent case, he'll probably, as we've seen, he'll get in way too late just because of the law.
Because Reggie Wayne gets in first.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them that need to get in. But with Cooper Kupp, where he's reliable, he's been here before. And with Jackson Smith being a little bit banged up, and you knew that they were going to.
And Gonzalez was all over him. He was good.
You were going to roll the coverages to him, and that's actually a testament to JSN, is that he knew that his role was going to be a little bit less because he's going to see a mix of coverages. And then Cooper Kupp was able to bring it home. You got to think Cooper Kupp was trying to, or the Rams were trying to encourage him to retire, like you're done, right? And they kind of put out like fake medical reports and all that. I mean, that's dirty business right there. This is a guy that was legendary for Sean McVay.
Oh yeah, I mean, behind Aaron Donald, it was Cooper Kupp. You got Stafford, but it was Cooper
Kupp, and he was dominating. A great blocker as well, and a really good trusty hands, great leader, and so they leaned on him, and that's where it's not as far as the defense going good, but then for Mike McDonald to understand, okay, this is a game that we can trust Cooper Kupp, and this is a guy that you can target. I do feel like Sam Darnold was a little off, but I think the coverage was so tight. So I think it was a testament to the Patriots. They were really making it hard for him.
And we'll get to the Patriots aspect of it. But with Sam Darnold, Jay, listened by Kenny Wilhite at Wings and Rings a little bit, he mentioned just how aggressive the Pats were being early on. That, to me, felt like their chance. Darnold was zipping it in there, right? Into some tight windows. Some of them felt incomplete, obviously. But he avoided the back-breaking turnover that New England, I think, was clearly gunning for early in that game to try and play with the lead. He avoided that. Did miss Smith and Jigba a couple times, once for a big play, maybe right before half.
The one that was kind of like he did an option
on the scramble.
He broke it off, and that would have
scored.
Yeah, blew the game wide open.
An associate of ours was really rooting for a Jackson Smith and Jigba touchdown.
Nick,
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, maybe could have had one there at the end of the first half. Darnold maybe left it a little late and a little too far inside, instead of throwing Smith and Jigba open a little bit over the middle. And then the deep bomb missed to Shaheed.
Yeah.
Missed him by about
just like
a yard.
2 yards. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was right there. They were close. You credit New England for some of that. But Jay, when you think about Sam Darnold, the journey that he's been on from seeing ghosts to, looking at the Lombardi Trophy now, I mean, what a journey for that guy, the way he bounced around the league. And I think it's obviously a great story for Sam Darnold. He's played some better football, but I think that's a dangerous proposition that we have Sam Darnold Super Bowl champion for a bunch of other organizations, because for how long now in the NFL has the discourse been dominated by you need a dominant quarterback to win? Sam Darnold was really good at times, right? He helped carry that offense early in the season when Walker and Charbonnet couldn't quite get on track. But by the end of the season, it was just avoid the big mistake, which he did. And I think there's a bunch of people rooting for Sam Darnold who kept his nose to the grindstone and kept working hard. But a bunch of GMs are panicking. Oh, crap. My quarterback excuse is out the window. If John Schneider can build a good roster and a good defense and get the right head coach and win with as bad as that guy looked early in his career, I got to get my acting gear.
Yeah, I also think that, the Jets actually drafted the best quarterback, but they didn't have the best support system. So what you're seeing from Sam Darnold
at the time, certainly. I mean, Josh Allen has clearly surpassed Darnold from that class. Even
but
Lamar
I'm talking
has
about at that time, he was the most ready.
Yeah.
And he had some success. And I think everybody hangs on the thing when you're mic'd up and you're seeing ghosts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not the only person that kind of alluded to, like, I'm seeing 3 guys out there, and I don't know. I'm and
don't know which one's real.
Right. And then I've done that, where, I didn't play a game up to my standard, and I felt like I was seeing something. Then when you watch the tape, I was like, I didn't say it, but I was like, dang, you were actually seeing something that wasn't real.
There. Yeah.
And, when you go to an organization like the Jets, and there's nothing against, it's nothing against the Jets, but the reality is this: they're not a very well respected and well run organizations. You're not going there with all the ducks in the row.
Right.
So you're coming there as a young man, a young quarterback,
all the way across the country,
all the way across the country, in a huge market, a vicious market, and then you're trying to fix things that have been in the foundation for decades.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about it, the GM that drafted him was fired the next year. So now the new GM wants his quarter. So now you already got a target on your back. Now and then,
with all the head coaching turnover and OC turnover,
and then you're into essentially the mini vortex of potentially going to be a bust. You know what I mean? Because what happens is I saw it with David Carr. You get there, you don't have the support. You kind of get some, not even bad habits. You just don't know what it's like to actually play with, a legitimate offensive line, a number one receiver, a running back. And then you're taking those things, and those are your most formidable years as a professional athlete, especially as a quarterback. And then anywhere you go now you're fighting all the assumptions and all that stuff that's coming with you, and it's mostly negative, to other places. You are literally out trying to outrun like a cheetah in a race, and he's lucky enough to do it, and it's commendable for him. I mean, he's obviously had some talent to where he was able to go other places. And then, obviously he went to Carolina, and obviously that was a little shaky. The best thing I said before was he was able to go to San Francisco. It's almost like when you go to San Francisco, and we'll see what happens with Mac Jones. It's like when fired head coaches go with Nick Saban. It's literally, you're going to be in a winning environment. You have a really good quarterback coach in Kyle Shanahan. Obviously Purdy's the starter, but you're going to be it's like image rehab.
Yeah.
Right. And you get to see what it's like to win, right? And be coached to win. Then he goes to Minnesota, has a great year. And obviously I think everybody and it's like, and that's the last 2 games is essentially an example how everybody wanted to view his career based on when he was with the Jets. He didn't play well the last 2 games, but if you look at it, the offensive line was beat up, no running game, and they just didn't play well offensively. He had played well for 14. He won 14 games.
Yeah.
Lost at Detroit, and then lost in a neutral site game because of the fires in California against the Rams defense, as we've seen this year. That is 100% for real, that can get to the quarterback. Well, then Seattle was like, man, I like this. You know what? We had Geno Smith, man. You're an upgrade. And the best thing also for him, Austin, is being up in Seattle. Because you want to know why? He fits Seattle. He's a low-key guy. All he wants to do is play football. Extremely motivated. His teammates love him. You know what I mean? So he has that quiet leadership. You're up there. So anything, like, you're not getting a ton of media. People aren't flying up there to try to get a hit piece on you.
Right.
It's hard to get. It's too far.
Yeah. SeaTac is not my favorite airport.
And you get you get to play your games times and your high are like, so if you have a bad game up there, it's like
everyone's already on a Sunday night football.
On a Sunday night football. Yeah. And so he's very, very protected. They protect him. I mean, you got to be happy for a dude like that, man. I mean, he's not your typical California USC quarterback.
Right.
He came up from very humble beginnings, a very close relationship with his parents,
Mhm.
very driven. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better example of, what do you want out of a quarterback that's kind of been through the highs and lows, and obviously, not that he's owed anything, but to be able to, outlast the assumptions. Now the narrative for him has drastically changed. Now he can play and compete on an even slate.
Yeah.
Very rarely does that happen with quarterbacks.
Kind of like Nebraska once it wins its first NCAA tournament game, eh?
You won't hear about it anymore. You won't get the hit piece that if Nebraska loses, that they're shouldn't, or where they should be like an 8 or 9 seed, the one that we had, and all that stuff. Is Nebraska even good? Or since they haven't, they have to go to the grade 8, for it to be a successful
right.
year. There's going to be there's going to be a team ranked higher than Nebraska, and it might be one of these number 1 seeds in the tournament that doesn't make the grade 8. But a team that's never been there, never won a game, has to fight these type of
has to go above and beyond and beyond.
Right. And that's what he's able to do. Very rarely in the NFL you're able to do that at that position.
Yeah.
So he's probably obviously thankful and appreciative. And you know what the best thing for him is? He's going to keep on doing it because the quarterbacks that come in the league can't play dead anyways. So
he's chilling.
Hey, from here on out, he can say, listen, people were picking up Trent Dilfer all the time. I'm better than Trent Dilfer. You talking about 20 years in the league, or Josh Johnson, 17 teams or something like that? Sam Darnold's going to play as long as he wants. And congrats to him, man.
26 USC quarterbacks drafted. Sam Darnold, the first to start a Super Bowl. Congratulations to him there. Some other interesting numbers. The Seahawks team, the best point differential of any team since conference realignment back in 2002. Number 4 team of all time since 1978. According to ESPN's DVOA number, which is pretty impressive. Kenneth Walker, 27 carries, 135 yards, 2 catches for 26. First running back to win Super Bowl MVP since Terrell Davis did it for the Broncos. How about this, Jay? Kenneth Walker, the first Super Bowl MVP, not born in the 1900s.
Really?
Yeah.
But he has an interest. He's the dude that I think he was on varsity at 8th grade.
Yeah. He was that dude.
Yeah, he's yoked up too. He's been yoked up. He's working out 3 times a day. Yeah.
No turnovers for the Seahawks in 4 games. First Super Bowl champion ever
to do that.
To go and do that. How about this then? Gray Zabel, rookie offensive lineman, 14th player to win a college football national title and a Super Bowl in back-to-back years, but the first time to ever do that when you're an FCS player.
Wow. Yeah. And he's good too.
He's good.
He's real deal. But yeah,
and North Dakota State, Jay.
Oh, we got that in hour 5.
Okay, stay tuned.
Yeah.
All the teasers.
Hey, what are they? They got beef up in North Dakota? The beef,
bison, cows,
and
beef,
oil
something.
up there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had to go tap into some investors to get over there.
We're doing this.
Yeah,
we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean I mean, if you forget being a defensive minded or defensive led team, right? But I think they play complementary football.
Yeah.
This isn't like where they were like they could be explosive, but when you talk about no turnovers.
0
for 4 games
against playoff caliber competition,
right? And not ideal. There was a rain. The Rams game was rainy. To be able to do that, I mean that's just it's unheard of. But then it's a great run, and it lets you know how well balanced they are, and how tough of an out it would be. They are a buzzsaw.
Yeah,
it's rinse and repeat. I mean that's a big, physical, fast team. Yeah. I mean, they are
across
big,
the board.
Across the board. Oof. And they did it on the sneak, though. Schneider was under some heat after getting, with Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
But they did it. They whether it's A.J. Barner, whether it's Kenneth Walker III, whether it's JSN, whether it's Witness. Yeah, they were big-time picks. But they weren't like ones that, like, they were running ESPN. Like, man, this dude's going to Seattle. He's going to turn it over.
But you were thinking more about pushing Pete Carroll out the door because you could see he was at the end of his run. You would think more about the Russell Wilson trade,
right?
That was a big deal. And DK Metcalf,
right. That just happened.
Yeah, just last offseason.
DK,
and I'm glad you brought that up, Jay, because John Schneider becomes the first general manager in NFL history to win 2 Super Bowls with a different head coach and no carryover players. Think about that.
Yeah,
from the Legion of Boom team in 2013 to this team. It's not like he won one early with Russell Wilson, right? Quarterback on a rookie deal. And then they carried him to one at the end of his career with the defense.
Yeah.
0 carryover players. In 13 years as a, long, what time in the NFL, right? Not a lot of careers last that long. So I get that aspect of it. But still, to go that long between titles, you're still in charge, being allowed to make those moves. New coach, two completely different rosters. He's the only guy to ever do it. Yeah. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible because it's a brand new team. But when you have a brand new team, you're automatically like set up to fail because you got a lot of draft picks and all that, but you have to hit on some major moves. Offensive line was a hit.
Yeah.
You got to trade for Leonard Williams, which essentially is like a draft pick. Then you got to get Murphy. Then you got to say, okay, we got to have not only, Kenneth Walker III, we got to get Charbonnet when he was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to, when are we going to turn the reins over to JSN?
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's a master class on how to build a team. And I think this next hiring cycle, if there's another GM, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody under Schneider or under that type of tutelage those guys are going to get plucked off big time. So,
and we already have some of that in the works for Seattle. Obviously, Clint Kubiak announced after the game he plans to take the coaching job for the Las Vegas Raiders. And then, Jay, two guys we've mentioned quite a bit, Devin Witherspoon and Jackson Smith and Jigba, both up for $30 million a year extensions.
Man.
Congrats on the Super Bowl.
One's probably going to get franchised, the other one's going to get paid.
Make your call. Make your pick.
Oh.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'll do JSN.
Paying him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to franchise him, and then maybe, I don't know. I mean, then you got to do Witherspoon in a year.
Yeah. Give yourself some more time to figure it out. So.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the Super Bowl win, Seattle. It makes some tough choices.
Hey, you about to have a beautiful offseason. You going to be there at minicamp? Nah.
See you when I see you.
Yep.
Deuces. We'll see you after this break to talk about the losers in the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. This is Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his two locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down. The snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get inspired at the 54th Annual Home and Garden Show, February 13th through the 15th at Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. $10 admission. Let the experts bring your home projects to life. Learn more at hbal.org.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Just got new tires put on my car today. You did? I did see you leave the office. I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off, and they were done. You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service? That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Talking more Super Bowl here on Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. 402-464-5685. Jay, we talked about the winners, the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
We gave you a long flight home one time, or so you've chronicled.
A couple times.
That's
well. You know what? You want to know a funny thing about Seattle? That's where I got my first. Well, actually, that was my first. Well, Seattle's actually a special place to me.
Okay.
Well, somewhat.
It's where a boy became a man?
No, I don't know about that. But, well, here, it's funny. Then we'll get into New England. So when I was a rookie and we were in training camp, so my mentor was this guy named Sam Coward.
Mm-hmm.
He was a stud. Sam had a really good offseason and was a little bit overweight. So they weren't.
The offseason was nice to say.
So they were fining him, and then they weren't letting him practice and stuff. Well, he didn't care. They weren't going to cut him. He was like all rookie and second team all pro, or he was really good.
Sam Coward.
Yeah. What are you going to do to him? He just gave him like $1 million back then to sign because he was a second round pick. So I'm thinking, because he practiced a couple times and then we had to go play out at Seattle, and this is my rookie year. I'm like, all right, he's going to play. Well, then they decided to hold him out the preseason game. And they didn't tell me until, like, as we got to the stadium. And I remember my locker was next to my man, Ted Washington, Mount Washington.
Mount Washington, yeah.
And he was going to play. It's good on good. Ricky Waters was the running back and all that. I mean, it was the real deal. Joey Galloway was received. The real deals are out there. Ted Washington comes over to me, and he used to call me Sweetie Rabbit because of my feet.
Oh.
He used to make fun of me the whole time I was there. He's like, Sweetie Rabbit. He's like, you scared? And, I mean, hey, you talking about, like, puckered up. I was like, nah. He's like, yeah, right. He's like,
yeah, right.
He's like, yeah, right. He's like, I know you scared as hell. He's like, because I was scared before my first start. That's number one. And then, so that was the preseason. We come back and play them regular season. This is when I knew I was going to be active, like in the game and playing special teams. It was Rayon Hill.
Dookie Ray.
Yep. It was actually Fab Five Freddy, me, Rayon Hill, and Antoine Winfield. That was like our kickoff team. And I'll never forget, it was the first play of the game. And Bruce DeHaven used to always make the rookies hit the wedge.
Oh,
that's when they had the real wedge.
Mm-hmm.
They had 4 guys there. You got to go. 2 guys got to blow it up. So we're about to, we get in our takeoff, and the ball comes off the tee. And your boy was hauling. Because, we play on it was real, like, slick AstroTurf. It was real AstroTurf back then.
Uh-huh.
So I went to the mall in Buffalo and went and got, like, some cross-training shoes and then just spatted my shoes. I wanted my stuff light.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No pads, no nothing. Nope. And, I was rolling. I had the head, I had my head kicked back. And then we had to go back to the kickoff or whatever. Antoine was like, yeah, I like that, Foreman. I like that. He's like, I like that sense of urgency, right? Antoine is like the safety. He know he ain't going to hit nobody. He ain't nothing but like 5'9". So we going down there again. And I knew it was going to be a wedge to our side. So a right return. And so it's me and Rayon going to hit this bad boy because they doubling Fred.
Okay.
So we hitting. So we're going, and you can see him out his peripheral. I'm running. And then once you see the wedge coming, there is no
going back.
There is no
You're
going.
there.
Yeah. It's like we're going into contact. So I'm getting, and then you kind of like angle in there. And then out of my peripheral, Ray hit the turf monster, gets him.
Oh, no. So you're 4-on-1.
Yo.
You're 4-on-1.
Imagine, Austin, I'm hitting the wedge right here.
Okay.
It was slow motion, like literally, that I saw number 38, if you Google Max Strong, coming here to my ear hole. So it was 3 guys. When he hit me.
Oh, no.
I hit the wedge, but he hit me at the same time. I swear to God, it was like Rocky Balboa when he fell down. It was slow motion.
Yeah.
I was knocked out. Came back, right? Like I was like, got up, because that's the first thing you want to do is get up and like not show any weakness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they made the tackle or whatever. Your boy was running to the right to Seattle. I was going to the wrong. I thought I was going to the sideline. The ref grabbed me. Back then there was no concussion protocol, and he's like, "You're going the wrong sideline," and threw me the other way.
Do you know who the ref was?
No, but I didn't know
it's
where.
Guardian
I was.
Angels. Who it was?
The first NFL play, knocked out. Get to the sideline, it's like a badge of honor back then. Now you know why you got like throbbing headaches and pre-CTE. They give you like some smelling salts. And they were like, Jay, do you know your name? Jay Foreman, do you know your name?
Right.
Yeah, Jay.
Giving you the answers to the test.
You know you're in Seattle. Do you know where you're at? Like, yeah. All right. Good.
Ready, break.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But.
And hey, you lasted 9 years after.
Now, on to the New England.
Sure, it broke your heart to see the Patriots flail.
I did not, but I wouldn't have minded seeing Mike Vrabel win.
Linebacker to linebacker.
I like it. I just like him as a coach. I like him as a coach. I think he's hard on him, but he's fair. And I think the things that when you see behind the scenes, I think he's a really good coach. I thought he was a great coach at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I just think New England had some holes in their game that kind of wasn't exposed to the maximum because of the dynamics of that game against the Broncos. Obviously, Bo Nix being out and so forth and so on. And they weren't able to get the conventional run game going because when you look at Stevenson and Henderson, just barely 3 yards to carry. The longest run they got was 9, and they weren't able to stick with it. And then they had to try to pass, and then they did a really good job of locking down Stephon Diggs, who, in my opinion, is their only like X factor that can really be, a volume receiver. And then obviously, take it the top off somewhat or make 50-50 catches.
Hollins had a drive. Tight
Right.
ends didn't do much. Boutte
Hollins
had the one
now,
catch.
he had that drive, but you're okay to deal. He's their fourth receiver. Congratulations, you're doing well.
Yeah.
And so they just made them play with one arm behind their back in a full-fledged fight. And even though their defense, played well, for the Patriots, they're, well enough, it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when you look at it, for the Patriots, this is a tell-all sign right here. So their top 3 leading tacklers in Woodson, Jones, and Davis III had 23 tackles.
Woo!
Right? Guess what position they played?
DB, DB, and DB.
So that lets you know the guys inside were neutralized.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference in the game. That's the difference in Kenneth Walker III at 100 or the game MVP and
135 on
135 yards. That's the big difference right there.
Mm-hmm.
They made their DBs be tacklers, and then that controlled the game. So if I'm New England, that's what I'm looking at. And then obviously, in the upgrade in the skill position as far as being able to be explosive got exposed.
Yeah.
You weren't able to get Hunter Henry off. Your screen game wasn't working. And so, it's a process for them. And it'll be interesting to see what Josh McDaniels does next year with Drake May, where Drake May is improved, but what do they do offensively to improve? Because they have a lot of the ingredients that Seattle has. Really good defense, strong-minded, defensive-minded head coach, really good special teams, even though Seattle outplayed their special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Young and upcoming quarterback, even though Darnold's a little bit older. More than capable running back room,
Mm-hmm.
double and two-headed monster. Decent enough tight ends, right? I think that you can kind of bring those back. You need the receiver help, either it's via trade or through the draft. And where this team is right now, this is what I'm predicting. I think it might have lessened now since the Philadelphia Eagles got a new offensive coordinator, but it's still going to be on the table. AJ Brown to New England. Why?
Because they need him.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Loves AJ Brown.
Mm.
That trade was not all on Mike Vrabel. That was the downfall of Mike Vrabel. You essentially took your X factor.
Yeah. The guy Tannehill needed.
With Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And you just took all their superpower.
Handicapped yourself.
There you go. If you're AJ Brown.
Thanks. I hate it.
If you're AJ Brown, that's where I want to go. You trust the head coach.
Yeah.
You trust the process. You know you'll get a volume of receivers. You're a really good cold weather receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get home field advantage with your skill set, and this if they bring back Stephon Diggs, you actually get more out of Stephon Diggs. Because he's more of a 2 receiver now.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Vrabel did a heck of a job with him.
Yeah.
And if you get rid of Stephon Diggs, you can draft or elevate somebody else. That's the only guy I would trust there.
I hate that it makes sense. Please don't happen. I'm not here for it. Now, it would make the AFC East, continue to be entertaining. But that's just the thing, Jay.
That'd be domination. Do you see Buffalo?
I still think Buffalo's got the best quarterback in the division.
They do. Do you see that defense?
What defense?
Exactly.
Yeah. No one's happy to see New England back if you're an AFC East fan.
The schedule's different next year.
First place.
The mindset that you're gonna get everybody's best shot from here on out.
Oh crap! Patriots are back. Got to be back on our game.
Well, the runner up in the Super Bowls, so this is it, and so it's going to be a different dynamic for that team, and they have a full year to kind of evaluate Drake May, what he does and doesn't do well, and how to stop this. Obviously the running game and passing game.
The Patriots fell, Jay, in the big way where most of the blowout Super Bowls have happened, losing the math. Right? If you can't block 4 guys with 6 responsible for him, sometimes 7 to 5 offensive linemen, a quarterback, and a running back, it's never going to work out in your favor. Will Campbell, their high pick with the offensive line with the short arms, right? Maybe that was a factor, but he was bad. Credited with 14 pressures allowed yesterday. Drake May had the 3rd worst quarterback run statistically of any quarterback in a Super Bowl run since the 2000s. Nothing went right, but here's the thing. I think that you can take this one of 2 ways. New England's young. All they can do is get better with an offseason to self-scout and improve. But the flip side of that, Jay, is how many times have we seen failures to launch? Yeah. How many guys only make it to one Super Bowl, right? I think you trust Vrabel. You like what May gave you if you're a Patriots fan, but you're still playing in the AFC, right? Yeah, Mahomes is injured. Yeah, Buffalo doesn't have a defense. Yeah, Lamar has a new head coach as well. But there's just so many threats in the AFC to make the playoffs any given year that, I mean, the list of guys that only made one Super Bowl. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has only been to one Super Bowl in this era. Drew Brees only made one. Dan Marino only made one.
Yeah.
Down the list, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, guys were at the peak of their powers, only made one Super Bowl. So I think on the surface, you like the direction that New England's headed. But, man, you can't bank on being back and getting another shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, how many teams like that you think, oh, they're going to go on a run? Say you go and either win or lose the Super Bowl close, and they don't ever get back.
Well, like you've said, it's hard to be the Super Bowl loser and make it
how
back.
many
like
times
Philly.
has me as a former player of Buffalo been on pins and needles? Is this the year we're going to beat Kansas City?
Yeah.
And the 1 year Kansas City isn't around.
Neither is Buffalo.
Neither is Buffalo.
And Baltimore, for that matter.
Yeah, right. Same thing. The window, winning a Super Bowl is as much about skill, players, as is luck.
Yeah, luck, timing,
and everything. And so, for New England, they'll always be in the hunt. They'll always be competitive because I think they have continuity from ownership, GM, decision makers, head coach, players, culture, all that. So they're always going to be a factor. That's why New England is dangerous.
Yeah.
Much like Seattle being up there in the Pacific Northwest, New England in Foxborough, where they're at, is off the beaten path as well. You're away from the big city. You're outside of Boston. So all the like the vinegar, as far as like the negative attention,
goes to the Red Sox.
Goes up. Everything else beside you, and because you're up there, I think they're dangerous. And also a chink in the armor for Buffalo that you just got rid of your coach that had some of the similar qualities as Mike Vrabel to match it. Now, I think Brady would do well, but it bodes well for the Patriots moving forward. And if this is the Mr. T starter kit that maybe go on a 5 to 7 run of constantly being in the mix, you have to think Vrabel with New England and emerging quarterback, you like your chances to get over the hump.
We'll talk a little bit more about this game. ESPN has its way too early NFL power rankings. You know who 1 and 2 are. It's the Seahawks at 1 and the Patriots at 2. Let's talk about the rest of the teams, or some of the teams in order, when we get back to wrap up hour 2.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing: a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Just got new tires put on my car today. You did? I didn't see you leave the office. I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done. You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service? That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Right along through Old School, Austin and Jay with you. Final segment here brought to you, final segment Hour 2, of course, brought to you by Love Volleyball in Nebraska. Get your tickets to see former Huskers like Alexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson dominate the court at LOVBNEB.com. So I'm a way, as many times you want to throw way in there too early. Power rankings, Jay, from ESPN. Seattle, number 1. New England at number 2. The Rams at number 3. Okay, checks out. They were really good all year. Denver at number 4. Maybe?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Buffalo at number 5. Their 3 words for the offseason: pressure is on.
Okay.
Number 6, the 49ers.
Oof.
I would push back because McCaffrey had such a good year. He's gone every other.
That's what I was just about to say. And the defense is a year older.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I know they got Raheem Morris.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also George Kittle got hurt late in the year. So then you got to think next year is probably in question. You mentioned
some would say questionable at best.
Right. Definitely at best. And that's no knock on him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him I don't like them at 6.
I would move Detroit over them.
I was just about to say that.
Maybe even Buffalo right now. I don't think Detroit's going to be quite as bad. Philly at 8. Interesting. Jacksonville at 9.
They're always in. Remember when they went up, New England could have beat them up there in the AFC Championship?
Yeah, but they Bortlesed.
But the roster is young under all rookie contracts.
Except Trevor.
They have to get yes. But I'm saying their defense. Maybe, right? Yeah. They got to get Etienne signed back because he had a huge year.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jacksonville at 9.
Okay,
I'm fair with that because I like the match between the GM and head coach.
Okay. Number 10, the Packers, another team with a late season injury to Micah Parsons. are at 10. The Bears are at 11. I would probably switch those because of the Parsons one. And maybe I'm with you, move the Bears up, except first place schedule coming.
Yes. But just if we just take the snapshot in the roster, the emergence of Caleb Williams, the two-headed monster at the running backs, the plethora of receivers, young D. I like it, and I like Ben Johnson. Yes, it's going to be a harder schedule, but I like it.
Chiefs at 12.
Chiefs are either going to be 12 or end up at 2 at the end of the year.
Houston at 13.
See, I like Houston up a little bit higher. See, I like Houston better in some ways than San Francisco because of the defense.
And Green Bay right now for me, maybe.
Green Bay, yeah. And I'm banking on CJ Stroud having a really good year next year.
Yeah.
And I'm banking on Houston actually getting an offensive line.
Baltimore at 14. Offseason words all about Lamar. Chargers at 15. I would probably take the Chargers right now just because of head coach certainty.
Yeah. And the two tackles will be healthy. And you just trust Harbaugh.
Yeah. And then rounding out the top half of the league, according to ESPN, Jay, Cincinnati.
No.
I think that's way too low.
No.
And that's no disrespect to Zach Taylor, but that team just had so many issues.
So many issues. The defense is still horrible.
One draft isn't going to save
You're probably going to lose T. Higgins. You're probably going to get rid of Trey Hendrickson.
Right.
So now you really don't have anything. And then all you have is Jamar Chase. And you have Joe Burrow that's hinting that he wants to be out of there. And the next team that's behind you, I'm willing to bet that will have a bounce back year. They better, or they're going to make a head coaching move within the first, 6, 7, 8 weeks. Is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
They've been to the playoffs. They kind of tricked it off. Not kind of. They did trick it off. They should be way higher than the Bengals. They're still immensely talented. They still have a franchise quarterback. They still have a trio of running backs. And when healthy, with Mike Evans and Goodwin and all those guys, they're a problem.
Oh, yeah.
And they got Mbuka down there too. And the defense is always going to bring it on the top bowls.
Yeah.
I think they're way, way too low.
Dallas at 18, my Colts at 19, Commanders at 20, Steelers at 21. I think all those teams fit in a group for different reasons, right? A bunch of those have their quarterback locked in place in that range, really from Cincinnati down through, like I said, at least through Washington. Pittsburgh, we'll see what they do with McCarthy. But, Jay, that's where I think my Colts are a little bit of a wild card. ESPN says the 3 words their offseason, run it back.
Yeah.
You have to, but can you afford to? But what else can you possibly do?
Right.
I just don't know what to make of the offseason in Indy. Sounds like they're, pursuing a deal with Daniel Jones, but some big name players are up with a lot of, potential savings on their contracts. And you could get rid of Pierce, potential tag or extend guy. Pittman's cost $29 million this year. Zaire Franklin, Kenny Moore. All guys have played big roles for the Colts before, but really nothing tangible to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough though in that division, and
but it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be because it's a great time. They're ripe for the picking, but the problem is the quarterback position. You had it fixed with Daniel Jones, unfortunate injury, and also part of this with the Indianapolis Colts. What do you do with Richardson?
Right,
because you're going to have to move him. You can't end up with
just go get a fourth for him.
Right. You don't want to be like San Fran and keep it at Trey Lance once a little bit a year longer when this isn't your guy. Maybe you could trade for Malik Willis or something like that, and maybe get or just kind of get a younger version of Daniel Jones on a 1-year contract. And Daniel Jones can kind of take his time to rehab later on in the season or off season. That's a huge year for Indy because I still like the roster. I think that's still a top 8 talented roster when put together.
Yeah.
I like it.
But, man, top 8 rosters don't lose that many games in a row.
I know, but I'm going to tell you, Austin.
They should have beat Seattle. They had them on the ropes. That would have been a heck of a win. But 8 in a row? 7 in a row, I guess, if you're 8 out of 9 when you're 7-1.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, look at San Francisco. They got decimated by injuries, too. In a tougher division. They found ways to win games. I don't know, man. It just makes me throw my hands in the air. So, North Dakota State talk coming up in hour 3.
Oh, yeah. Big one. Move. The funny thing about these type of moves, they put it out there. It's like a little hint, and then it just magically happens. like 3 days later. Yeah, pretty cool deal. Good for whoever in the Mountain West, boy, you better get ready.
Bison are coming. We'll talk about it in hour 3.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Just got new tires put on my car today. You did? I did see you leave the office. I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts, answer the call one more time.
and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Hour 3? Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, the Monday after the Super Bowl. Old School live in effect, 1040 O Street. We are brought to you by Graham Tire. Been in business for 75 years. They just don't take care of your tire needs. They take care of your vehicle, both car and truck. Check them out, Graham Tire. Austin set it up, teed it up like Tiger Woods. Big story coming out of college football, like always. And it's not the transfer portal. It's not a student athlete or whatever suing a school and saying, you know what, I was promised an NIL package, and once I got here, it wasn't there. The North Dakota State Rolling Bison, long time being a thorn in FBS school side, came on like gangbusters, and it's kind of been the team that you never wanted to schedule in the non-conference, right? So they took your money, and then obviously they took your heart. Has finally found a home in the big leagues. They are now going to the Mountain West Conference starting right now in 2026. The interesting thing is they have to pay roughly $17 million just for the football team to participate in the Mountain West. And it's only football.
Yeah.
And which is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting because when you think of North Dakota State basketball and some of the transfers that we've had, we had my man with the mullet last year. From North Dakota State.
Yep, Andrew Morgan.
And then you had the one that went to Alabama.
Grant Nelson.
Right, and then a few others.
Sam Griesel.
Right, Sam Griesel as well. If they had kept those guys, they could compete in the Mountain West in basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so it's interesting that it was only football. And maybe this is the first step to adding more teams. And, our friend Pete Thamel broke the story. Is expected to pay $12 million to join the league. With an additional $5 million, will pay the NCAA to move to FBS. The NCAA should be paying them $5 million because it makes the Mountain West more whole.
Right.
But they're paying $17 million to get busy, starting immediately. So we'll see what the schedule will be like. We'll get a little bit of Mountain West with a little North Dakota State at Hawaii.
Heck yeah.
Kicking off at 10:30 p.m. Central
or Hawaii at North Dakota State. Either way, that's fun.
Well, they'll play at any time up there because it's an indoor dome. And so congratulations to them.
That's such a fascinating Mountain West right now, Jay, because you have your holdovers of Air Force, Hawaii, Nevada, New Mexico, San Jose State, UNLV, and Wyoming.
Yeah.
But the teams that they've had to add, Northern Illinois made this move from the MAC to join the Mountain West. UTEP. What in the world? Man, what a hodgepodge that conference is. But I think, to your point, this is a great feeling out process for them because it's been, as far as we can tell from the outside looking in, a really well-run organization that's hired good coaches, that knows how to attract talent in its niche, and is probably ready at this point for the next challenge. I mean, if St. Thomas can jump from, D3 to the Summit League, you would think that a Summit League team could jump to the Mountain West in football, right? That's a heck of a basketball league there in the Mountain West. So sure, maybe they need a couple years to work up to that in basketball, but in football, you mentioned some of those FBS teams that the North Dakota States beat. It's not that group. It's a bigger, badder group than that. So I think if you're North Dakota State, you're just hoping some of that institutional DNA carries over and it's business as usual, even though it can't be.
No, but I like, if I'm North Dakota State, I like my matchups now.
Oh, yeah.
When you think about playing Air Force, which is going to be a physical game, UNLV is a game opponent, but feel like you can, compete with the other teams. And then with the new teams that are coming in with you, Hawaii, Northern Illinois, and UTEP, you feel like, you're going to be in the Mountain West championship conversation, year in and year out. And, they're not new to having a sports team move up to FBS. I mean, wrestling is in the Big 12, and other sports are just going to probably wait and see. So I like it. I think the way that they play and where they play provides a unique opportunity, but some advantages for them. And by doing that, that's going to allow you to be ultra competitive right away. And that's why they probably were looking forward to it. So
here's the other aspect of this, Jay. If we're going to that college football super league, this is North Dakota State saying, hey, guess what? We're here too.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to be left out, even if you want us to be in the deregulation or regulation part of the super league. But we've made steps to slowly but surely get up there with the big boys. They have a couple. Say it's going to come to fruition in 4 years, if they get a conference championship, maybe slip group of 5 or something like that, but then they're consistently competitive. What they're following, obviously in their pedigree, you like that at your at the bottom of your super league. Or
even if they're
your second league,
even if they're team 10 in the Central Division, if you go to 8 divisions of 10 or whatever it is, they deserve to be in there.
Yeah.
We got this from Virginia Pirate. You got to think that South Dakota State, South Dakota, and North Dakota should be joining soon after too, right? No, not necessarily.
South Dakota State, maybe.
But even then, that's really more recent. That's like the last 5 to 7 years for them.
And they've had turnover.
And not like North Dakota State hasn't, but they've done it through 4 straight coaches now, I think, that have won a title up there. So North Dakota State's more established than them. I know it's one state further away. Here's the other part, though, Jay. I mean, Fargo being right there on that border with Minnesota. I mean, you're right next to, a Big Ten state. You're not associated as much with your Montanas and Montana states, in that way, right? Who are certainly on the upswing in football and have been good. But let's not underrate the amount of cachet that North Dakota State has built up in the FCS ranks. There are a bunch of other, good programs that North Dakota State forced to raise their level. Your Sam Houstons, your James Madisons before they made the jump, teams like that. But North Dakota State has clearly been on a tier of its own in terms of managing success, managing turnover, and continuing to field good teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're the only one in the next 4 years that gets that call to make that jump.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually excited to watch and see, how they compete and how, it's one thing just look at, I want to see the body types, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to see the depth of their program, but seeing how they're able to take advantage of this opportunity. Also, you got to think the fact that they're going up to FBS, could affect Minnesota in in-state recruiting.
Oh,
It just popped in my mind when you're talking about not only the proximity has always been there, but they got a nice little town up there. I don't know if you ever seen that ESPN when they're talking about when they had the college game day up there. But now that they're up in the FBS, it's actually appealing, and you can recruit really good players from like the western part of away from Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then up obviously in northwestern part of the state. You get some big boys up there, which they already do.
Yeah.
But now you can actually creep on down towards the city limits because, a lot of those guys are waiting around and they'll go to like a little bit of a smaller Division I, you can get up there and go up to North Dakota State and be in the FBS.
Well, we've seen that a couple times as well. Maybe not the exact scenario, but James Madison moving to the Sun Belt, right? Picking off maybe some more talent from the DMV, even SMU, right? Taking the step up, or TCU going from the Mountain West to the Big 12, getting players that might have skipped right over them before. Obviously, FCS to FBS is a bigger jump, and those other areas, probably more talent dense. But North Dakota State, Jay, has made a living finding those diamonds in the rough, so this isn't going to be uncomfortable for them. It should just open more doors.
Well, also they recruit down in Florida too.
They do.
So, they're going to be able to keep going down there in Florida. So whatever the pipeline is from Florida schools down to or up to North Dakota State is just expanding because they've had a lot of success with players that are from that state, with the defensive backs. And obviously they've had to be strategic about it. But now, it just, in heightens or it really puts a limelight on your profile, on your team. And so I'm sure they're excited about it. Obviously, I think it's still going to be a tough task. I think it also brings a little bit of energy to their off-season work that know that they're going to have to really be ready to go because your first impression is your lasting impression. And so we'll see how it goes and what they do.
They only have one Eden Prairie guy on their roster for next year.
Yeah, there was a Eden Prairie alum that went there, and it was when another coach was there didn't have a good experience. I think Mike Grant shut down that pipeline.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. But I pull up. This is a numerical roster, but it's Texas, Frisco, where North Dakota State obviously has spent a lot of time playing for the FCS National Championship. Tampa, another Florida kid, a Maryland kid, and a New York kid. Their quarterback, Trey Drake, one of them. Before you get to the first, Minnesota, Illinois, Minnesota, another Florida, Missouri, Virginia. So for being, an FCS, school, a smaller brand, we know the power that North Dakota State holds at that level, right? We've had that discussion with plenty of Nebraska, student athletes before too. Would you rather walk on at Nebraska or take a scholarship and, 2/3 of the time be playing for a national championship at the FCS ranks. People all across the country know that North Dakota State brand because of how good that program's been.
Yeah, and they've been able to go get Trey Lance out of Marshall, Minnesota. They've been able to get Carson Wentz. And you got Cole Payton here, who did a really good job, at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
They have a good eye for talent, and it hasn't stopped as they've had coaches move up. So I think they're going to be ready to go.
I'd be more surprised if they weren't. And there's always going to be an adjustment period, right? Something's going to surprise them. Something's going to pop up. Big Bank Hank says, I could see North Dakota State making it to the playoff before Nebraska. I hope you're joking. But
I hope not.
Seriously, the thing is they do still have that kind of probationary period, so they won't be eligible for the conference championship game for 2 years, which I don't really love, but I get it. You just got to see if you can remain solvent. Right, when you jump up to the FBS
and is
level.
That more of a financial thing?
Yeah, it's financials. Are you going to go that far underwater to where you have to jump back down to FCS? If you can't hack it financially, you can't do that. But then here's the other interesting part, Jay, from Pete Thamel's article. NDSU also won't be able to fully access conference or college football playoff revenue until 2032, which is after the current media rights contracts all expire. So they got to wait, 6 years until the next deal and see if they're even still in the Mountain West to get a piece of any potential college football playoff deal. But the Mountain West in football hasn't really been close.
That's not much, but it's like, dang, you got to pay 17 to get in to play ball, then you can't get any money, if any, and then you got to wait on a new deal. College football will have changed 3 times by then. So, yeah, it sucks for them, but I think the ability to play with the big boys and stuff like that, I think it will be well worth it. And it's only one sport, so they'll be able to, I think, to survive pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
Missouri State made the jump just last year, I think. Went pretty well for them for the most part, especially for year one and Conference USA I think they were in.
Right.
So
yeah,
been done before,
school,
but
another like Mississippi school did. I remember. I mean, it's been done before. It's not an easy. I think for most schools it's not an easy jump, but I think the way that they play and the way that you know what I'm saying, and I will also say their recruiting footprint will allow them to make an easier transition.
Yeah.
Right. They're heavy on the offense and defensive line. They have a high retention rate, right? And they develop guys, and they already have a team ready to go. So once they get up, they'll be able to play their game. And I think physically, from a physical standpoint, they'll be more than capable to withstand it. Versus the other schools, I think, where they struggled across the lines, and that's where you see a little bit of the, downturn as far as their production. But there's probably, it probably is about 3 or 4 years overdue. Don't you think? I mean, how many national titles did they have to win before you're like, all right, you need to come up?
What, they won like 10 out of 15?
Right.
I think it was. And see, that's just the thing about this move is that it never happens at the peak. And you never want to walk away from a league you're dominating when you're absolutely, at the peak. They won it 2 years ago, right? And then obviously got upset by Illinois State this year. But that's just the thing, Jay. We talk about it too in light of, say, Cincinnati, right? Didn't make the playoff the year they were probably at their best. Had to validate it again the next year to make the playoff and then get the doors blown off of them, right? North Dakota State, in terms of the on-the-field results, how they've played, seems like they've been ready for this move for a while. But you're just very rarely, if ever, afforded the opportunity to make that pivot when you're at your peak. And they're still good, right? They're still in the middle of their dynastic run, but it's not, okay, North Dakota State's inevitable, right? Thanos snap style. They had to wait till they came back down to earth a little bit. Other teams caught up to them. Oh, okay, now with college sports shifting, we can take you while you're here.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think also how they do will be part of the bigger picture as college football starts to transition and move forward.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not going to be the end all be all, but it's going to be part of the process. And so I think it's going to be a good thing. I'm excited to see them do it. Like you said, it would be really good to see them at their peak. But actually, maybe that they needed to continue to dominate because maybe across the lines they weren't ready. They've continued to kind of have their program evolve too. You know what I'm saying? And as their profile and obviously having some quarterbacks, and let's not forget Easton Stick was up there as well. And in the running backs, and obviously we saw Shar Brown go down to Miami and got, really level up. It's been onward and upward, and they've kind of always been able to be ahead of the curve, especially with I think their success spurred South Dakota State to do Then they were, playing Sam Houston State all the time.
Mhm.
But then they were
Montana State right next door.
And they were right, and they might be next.
Boise on the other side for
Right.
those schools too.
But North Dakota State has always been ahead of the curve coming down the backstretch to 400, and they finally are getting payoff. And so, congrats to them.
Mhm.
Big story, man. I mean, obviously with the Super Bowl, you're not going to get a ton of, media attention, but I think it's going to be huge. And we got a text here from Big Bank Hank, Henry Big Bank Hank. It says, I could see, that's they're right there. So everybody thinks it's pretty positive. And yes, we got the text here from unknown texter 6296. We'll take a quick break right now, come back, and we'll come back. Bill Moose had released his book, and dang,
697 pages worth of book.
My man's up there in Montana just dropping straight bombs, so obviously the quote on with Scott Frost and everything. So get your text ready to send in. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Here's Stacy from Petal Creations.
Ordering flowers is intimidating if you don't know what you're doing.
Petal Creations experts care about designing a bouquet that conveys your special message from the heart.
You deserve to have a personal florist that you can depend on, who can take your message, turn it into a bouquet, and deliver it in a timely manner. And the rest is up to you.
Petal Creations in the Edgewood Shopping Center or at petalcreations.com.
So give us a call. We've got you.
Hey fellas, let's take a quick time out here. February is American Heart Month, and listen, men are the worst at getting checked out. We'll watch every stat in the league, but ignore the most important one. That's our own heart health. So here's the play. Talk to your doctor about scheduling a quick heart screening at Advanced Medical Imaging. It's fast, it's easy, and it could save your life. Your family needs you around a lot more than your fantasy team does. Make the call, get the checkup, take care of your heart at Advanced Medical Imaging.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Quick little brief break as we get into breaking news. My man Tyrone. No, we ain't going to call Tyrone. But Tyrone texted in. It's about one of the many quotes or obviously in Bill Moose's book, which is probably going to be New York's bestseller pretty soon. Because I know I'm gonna buy one, and I don't like to read, right? Unless it's Game of Thrones or something like that, I'm out on it. Here's what the excerpt that we got, and it says, "As pissed off as I was that Matt Davidson unexpectedly sat in on that meeting, I was glad he did, as it prompted me to tell Kendra, which is his wife, right, to stay in the room. And like many times before, her intuition proved to be invaluable." The quote goes, "He's not ready," she said, after closing the door that left just the two of us in the room. Too immature. This is in reference to Scott Frost. Yep, I agree. But if I don't pursue him with everything that I've got and he ends up at Tennessee or Florida, I'm screwed. That's Bill Moose. Yeah, but if you bring Nebraska's golden boy home and he fails or falls flat on his face, you're really screwed. Remember, people have short memories. That's it. I mean, I think, the Scott Frost, the Scott Frost thing is, I think he's like probably the worst case of hemorrhoids that you can get. I haven't had, basically, one of my teammates had a bad case of hemorrhoids, and it's like they won't go away. Right when you think you got it, like you're over it, cured, whatever, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Then, oops, I'm back.
Miss me?
You miss me? And I'm
No, I did not.
And I'm coming back. It's worse every time. And there's a ton of them, man. He talks about the time that I think it was Ronnie Green gave him a 2-page letter, right?
Yep, I have that
that
one pulled up right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sit over here, Hank Bound said as he pointed to the chair directly across from Ronnie.
Sit down.
Chancellor Green has something for you.
Thank you.
I watched as Ronnie's shaking hand extended what appeared to be a document of some kind toward me, and with a trembling voice told me to read it. Slowly and with caution, I took what turned out to be a 2-page letter, then became filled with shock as I read it. I was truly aghast. The sucker punch contained in those 2 pages made the earhole hit I took in my first college football game at Kansas look like a sock hop slow dance. Addressed to Mr. William Moose, it started with Dear Mr. Moose, immediately stated that he had received several reports regarding inappropriate and unprofessional behavior in public settings. Then went on to say that on multiple occasions, Kendra, again, Mrs. Moose, had been abusive and demeaning to members of my staff. His final claim was that I had authorized several modifications to my office that caused him to question my judgment and commitment to good stewardship of university resources.
Stewardship is be financially conservative.
Yeah.
I learned that word from Trev because he said it. And I asked him, what the heck does that mean?
What do you mean when you say this?
Yeah, just what is it? I need ebonics or just regular?
Or lay it out.
Yeah. He's like, well, Jay, us educated people, this is what we...
Come on, Harvard.
I'll just play it. No, I'm talking about Trev. I mean, it's crazy, man, where, you had, I think, this, I guess, it's interesting. Now, this is his take, right? And I guess you can take him for his word because if you say something that's not true, then you can get in trouble. So this is his take, his view, and you got to respect it because he's one of the. I always say there's his Bill Moose's side, let's say the university side or the other factor side, and then what really happened. So now we got his side, and it's a very unique take, and it's obviously drastically different than what people thought. You were led to think that Scott was waffling on this job. And there might be some truth to that. But the waffling just wasn't one side. Like, Bill Moose was like, I know he's not ready, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy when you think about it. And he had to do it. And as a good leader, sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do because you have to look at the long picture. And he was like, how could it go this wrong or this bad this quickly? But it can if things aren't lined up correctly and one person doesn't bring like their best A game.
Well, that goes both ways. Sometimes you have to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. Okay, so hire Scott Frost.
Majority of the time in life, yeah.
But sometimes being a leader is not doing the thing that everyone else wants you to do.
Right.
Would have been an incredibly tough call.
It would have been a horrible 2 months.
It would have been.
For the media attention.
As long as you're right.
As long as you hired somebody that, number one, around here, this is where I'll push back on you. I'm gonna push back on you. Around here, I call it resume pimping. Because the resume, as long as it looks a certain way, makes them feel good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whoever say okay, Scott Frost is here. So his resume is, the national champion or whatever you want to call it. 13,
Oregon OC, NFL,
the turnaround,
Nebraska.
right. This is him. But the recent is you just went undefeated, and you're the hottest coach out there. Tennessee, Florida, Nebraska want you, and I'm sure there's another team. Then you have to have on the other side, person B, that has the resume cachet, right? And then he has to be instantly successful because and this is if Scott Frost stayed at UCF and say he had another great season, right? Just say he stayed at UCF and went 10-2 the next year and won a bowl game.
And Nebraska went 7-5.
Right. Or Nebraska went, or didn't make a bowl game.
Yeah.
Right. then now in real time, it magnifies the decision. Whereas now, when you think about it, he had to make the decision. You can't even fault him for making the decision, even though he didn't want to do it. That's the way it was spent on the other side with Scott Frost. It's like, I have to take this job, even though I don't want to. No. You just wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you have self-reflection. You weren't ready.
But see, this is where let me push back on your pushback. Right, we're boxing out here.
All
We're
right.
in the lane. We're jockeying for position.
Let's go.
Right. Number one, it's just get it right business. It's results oriented, and fair or not, I think we let Bill Moose off the hook way too quickly. Jay, how many of Nebraska's shortcomings have we pinned on Scott Frost? Wasn't a good enough coach. Wasn't mature. Wasn't ready for the job. Wasn't organized. All that. A lot of the blame for that era gets put on Scott Frost.
Yeah.
When I read this from Bill Moose,
mm-hmm.
he belongs in the Steve Peterson tier. You're the
Dang.
athletic director. You are
Dang,
paid
Austin.
to make the tough decisions. Get it right.
You cold-blooded, man.
Get it right.
You gotta watch. Hey, people out there, you gotta watch out for Austin, man.
You know,
He's ruthless.
Because you're right. It would have been a terrible 2 months. It would have been a terrible football season.
It would have been a horrible if
it would have. But what else did we see?
But you can't be scared.
Can't worry about it.
Yeah.
If you trust in your gut, and you say he's not ready, and other people that you trust say, I'm just not feeling it. Again, I go back to it. Betting on yourself goes both ways. You bet on yourself by, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to have it. It's perfect. Everyone else wants it. He's going to be great. But betting on yourself is also, I'm in this position for a reason. They pay me the big bucks to make these decisions. And, you know, I got to make the tough call right now. I just don't think it's right. But this is where I'll add evidence to my point, Jay. There's another excerpt from the book. According to Bill Moose, Ronnie Green was the person who gave Scott Frost his 2019 contract extension. It actually happened before the Ohio State game. And
that's when they got
September.
blown out, right?
We publicly learned about the extension the morning of Nebraska-Wisconsin on November 16th. Here is the excerpt from the book. I had no idea what Ronnie was calling about, but I presumed it had something to do with my participation in the pregame brunch he hosted prior to every home game. I was wrong. Instead, he called to inform me that he had extended Scott's contract for another 2 years. Without input from his athletic director, who would not have supported the decision, he reverted the contract to its original 7-year term, guaranteeing the coach an additional $10 million in compensation. Nebraska lost 48-7 that day, went on to lose 5 of its next 7, finishing 5-7, would be the school's best record during the Scott Frost era. Okay, so that's all very interesting. Apparently, Ronnie Green went over Bill Moose's head, which, okay, Chancellor outranks athletic director. But how little did Ronnie Green think of Bill Moose? Just go right over his head, not tell him about it. To say, oh, wait, I did this while you were out. You know, if you're Bill Moose, that's number one, slap in the face. And number two, kind of a testament to your standing in that athletic department. They didn't trust you to make those decisions.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Number one, I'll tell you this. That you looking at it way too. You conspiracy theorist. This is right here. You Obi-Wan Kenobi and me again.
If Ronnie Green trusted Bill Moose, wouldn't he be the one to negotiate the extension?
No, that's not how they do stuff. You know that. I've been in corporate America. Like listen to Obi-Wan. It's not happening. It's not. Stop doing this. No. First of all, as a AD, you had to hire Scott Frost. 1,000%. That is the right. It was the right decision. It's like you married Scott Frost under the pretense of who he was and didn't know that who he turned out to be. That's not it's the decision you had to make. You had to make it. And it's more if you didn't make it or couldn't make it, that's how you get fired.
How many guys did Bill Belichick cut that were still in their primes?
This is not apples to apples, Austin. It's just not.
I'm just saying, we're looking at testament to leadership for successful organizations.
Listen, he fell into Tom Brady. I don't want to hear nothing about it.
He did.
Okay.
But why couldn't Nebraska fall into someone that wasn't Scott Frost?
Now you got Thomas and Lincoln in it. See, that's the Thomas. Stop listening to this man. Listen, turn on the stream, read my lips.
Look at Jay in the eyes.
And yes. You know, stop listening to Austin. He had to make that decision. But also, it could have been the decision of Ronnie Green could have been some of Bill Moose's lack of action leading to that. But even though he did it, it's still wrong. It lets you know to a bigger problem because at Ohio State or Georgia or like say Alabama or the ones that are really running like, you know, on jet fuel, that doesn't happen.
No.
You don't go over the AD to get something done because you know that the AD will push back on you. It doesn't mean it can't get done. That means it's not getting done when you want to. And who was in Ronnie Green's ear to get it pushed over? Now, this is all like, now we're getting into like a movie script now. No, we don't need to do that. So now you just got to understand like how things work. Now, when you look at now, listen. Now, since you want to be now, you got to think like, okay, what was behind Trev's departure? Who leapfrogged him?
Yeah.
Who kind of like manipulated it, or maybe if that's the situation, there's Trev has a lot of blame for that. I still think he should have stuck, been down like 4 flat tires then and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it sheds that right there more than Bill Moose. It sheds light on the inner workings that there wasn't continuity. So then
North Stadium and Canfield Hall have a lot.
Then it trickles down from the AD to the football coach, the continuity on the field. It's all correlation. It all works together. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not a big book reader. I'm not.
About to be.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm reading this bad boy just because it's interesting. Because Bill Moose, listen, Bill Moose he's an interesting character. Here's we got another text here from 8985. He says, "Oh, that's exactly you're exactly." See, 89, 85, you're exactly who I thought you. He says, listen here, Austin. That's the hottest and most wrong take I've ever heard Austin say. Moose would have had to bankrupt the athletic department to approach Steve Peterson level of destruction because the football team was already bad when he made the wrong decision up front. That is true.
What I'm saying is we are apparently letting Bill Moose way off the hook. Like,
he shouldn't be off the hook.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're right. We're right.
That's what I'm trying to say is that when we think about that, 2002, when this probably started, the 2007 era, right, with the end of Solich into Callahan.
Yeah.
We say, Husker fans will say Callahan was the worst coach Nebraska's ever had. He was so bad. Why do you ever bring that guy in? 2 bowl games, division title. By the way, that's besides the point. But who else gets blamed and brought up every time? Steve Peterson. That guy sucked. He ran Frank Solich out of town.
He did.
Absolutely right. Right? That's a problem. Steve Peterson was not good. But Peterson gets a lot of blame for that. Whereas you read this admission from Bill Moose. To me, that's I didn't have the guts to make the tough decision. Or I didn't have the backing of everyone else to make the tough decision. Whether it's Bill Moose's, fault for hiring Scott. And I'm with you, right? It was the only, appeasable option for the fans was to hire Scott Frost. But if Bill Moose is willing to write that he didn't want to do it and he did it anyways, he still needs to be held accountable, either for the hiring or for not giving the support or not putting, the guidelines, the curbs on Scott Frost to help him be successful. Maybe it was never going to work anyways. So I'm not, okay.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying, right? Sure, maybe Peterson was worse. I'm just saying we can't let Bill Moose completely off the hook for this if he's admitting that he didn't want to do it in the first place.
Yeah, he's not off the hook. And, I don't think I'm not taking it that he had to clear his name. I think he's just kind of, getting it out there. But, yeah, you're not off the hook. And it would have been commendable that he did it. And then maybe we'd be in a different place. But it's just interesting because it's the exact opposite. You had 2 people that, I guess, in a marriage that had questions about each other, but decided to do it. The thing that I'm more concerned about from Bill Moose is where I would think is like, if you consider yourself a good leader and he has some weaknesses, right? Mm-hmm. Then you should have been helping him on weakness.
How are you mitigating him?
Now, on the flip side, if there was pushback and resentment in the effort to help with weaknesses, then that's more on Frost.
Yes.
Because I think if you have a good head coach, athletic director, relationship, athletic director, head coach, and support, all those things together, then you're in it together. Mm-hmm. And look,
the best ones are.
We're here. But the best ones are, but they didn't start out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it, Bjork over at Ohio State?
Yeah.
He has a lot to learn from being an athletic director at Ohio State with Ryan Day as the head coach. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have Gene.
And who is president?
Gene, right? Or
Ted Carter.
Ted Carter, but Gene's still around.
Yeah.
The athletic director guru is there. So his transition will be a little bit easier. But that's not you can't have that everywhere else, right? Like Kalen DeBoer, you got Nick Saban up there. If you need to go say, hey, man, I'm struggling with this slot blitz. What do you think? Just for as a confidant. Now, whereas here, and you also have to think like the dynamics of it too. This is coming off of Sean Eichhorst. And
also bad.
In the Bo Pelini situation, in the Mike Riley situation, which when you just hire, I guess, a perceived bad guy and Mr. Nice Guy. And I don't even want to say that again because Mike is a good dude and good coach, but the total opposite.
Mhm.
Well, then now you have no fabric. And so here
Yeah.
comes Bill Moose and he's like, I have to make it. I have to make this decision.
Mhm.
And you make it, you want it to work. And even if it's a work in progress, but then you wonder, like, I guess what is it when, you ever seen that show? Was it Succession?
Mhm.
Where they're kind of like, you got a family and then they're kind of all working against each
Against
other.
each other.
But
Yeah. Well, it's like crabs in a barrel, like you would say. Yeah.
That's what we had going on.
Right. Well,
That's
that's 5379. Could be big time donors. We're going to stop the funding if Moose didn't hire Frost. Well, then take him inside the interview process, right? I mean, we know Pillin was a regent at that point.
Austin.
Right.
Austin.
Okay. So you have
Austin,
former players, you have the backing.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, Orman. Scott Frost was going to be this dang head coach, hell to high water.
I know.
Yeah.
Which isn't the right outcome. There's a lot of people to blame for that outside of just Bill Moose.
Yeah.
Right. Including Scott Frost. Luke, our guy at the mill, you make a darn good cup of coffee. We appreciate you. He says the only person responsible for Scott Frost failing was Scott Frost. Let his own celebrity overwhelm coaching and discipline. Moose and Green didn't help the situation, but Scott Frost is
That
entirely
might be
to
the
blame.
best one right there. That's my man.
Jay, if you're not part of the problem, or if not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
That, quote unquote from the Bruce Smith.
They didn't help. If they didn't help, then they were hurting.
Was help refused?
Might have been. Probably was.
I know. At one point in time, he was offered help, and he stiff armed that thing like the Heisman.
Can I tell you one other excerpt from this book?
Yeah, one more. This is. We need to keep going.
Per the agreed upon plan for that season, 2020, each team was to play 8 scheduled games, followed by a to be determined 9th game from the opposite division based on their records.
COVID?
Yep.
Okay.
As it turned out, Nebraska was assigned to play at Rutgers. Less than an hour after that was announced, Garrett, I assume Garrett Classy at this point.
No. Scott's right hand man.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The one that J.D. Spellman.
Yeah. No, Jared Lambrick.
Oh, that's Jared Lambrick.
Yeah, Jared Lambrick. This is Garrett. Garrett Classy, I assume.
Yes, because he almost was 80.
Yeah. Less than an hour after that Rutgers game was announced, Garrett, presumably Classy, was in my office. Scott doesn't want to play the Rutgers game. Says his guys are tired and they're ready for the season to be over. We had all that conversation about the bowl game, Jay, after that year. Now, would Nebraska have been invited? Supposedly turned it down, whatever. Per Bill Moose, the head coach didn't even want to play Champions Week at Rutgers. A game Nebraska won, by the way.
That's crazy.
So Bill Moose says.
He said the guys are tired. What you tired from, man? You young.
Frost says his guys are tired and they're ready for the season to be over.
So?
Bill Moose said, yeah, bull crap. It isn't over. I busted my butt to get them a bleeping football schedule, and they're going to finish it. Get him up here.
Yeah, that man said leadership. Then he said, get up here. That's exactly what stand on business, Bill Moose.
That's what Hank Bounce told him.
Stand on
sit
business.
here.
Yeah,
Bill Moose learned, said, Scott, sit here.
Hey, let me tell you something. Bill Moose, if you listen, I know you're not listening.
But if you are.
You should have released this after Thanksgiving.
What are you waiting for, my man?
Hey, it would have been in everybody's stock.
A bestseller in minutes. Minutes, I tell you, minutes.
A kid's 18 years old. Hey, you really don't know, man, but here you go. I'm flabbergasted. I'm not surprised. I just don't understand how, like, you get a chance to go to a bowl game, and I get it. You got to practice more. What you tired from, bro? First of all, COVID, you hardly ever was practicing because everybody was at the crib.
Yeah.
So and that was a game that you won at Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly but surely, after that, when the offseason, let me tell you something, man. This is interesting. You remember, okay, their offseason started then, and that was a long offseason.
Yep. Because
COVID was extended, or the whatever restrictions.
Yeah.
And people started to see and notice things about your work habits, your whereabouts. Now, probably a lot of it was rumors and BS, but there was some truth to it. So then, but if you're actually playing, practicing, that's not there. So that one impulsive move and decision, right, started your downturn.
Or accelerated it.
It put it in fifth gear. You went from first gear to fifth. your fourth year, and it's just interesting, man, when you think about that. Because everybody was breaking down his offensive schemes and how much he's putting in time and all that. And then, then you start hearing people say his office light's been off for like 2 weeks, all that stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, man, I need to go and I just need to go hunt. I like to be by myself. I don't like recruiting. I want to go hunt. Like all that stuff started because people were mad, because especially during the COVID time, because people needed something to hang on to. And it was a big deal that Nebraska wanted to play.
Nebraska's going back to the Big 12. Watch out, folks.
And then you had the supposed practice infractions and all that stuff. And
Jonathan Rutledge.
Yeah. Then you're like, nah, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to end on a win, because I'm sure if you went to a bowl game, you got some money.
Probably.
I mean, here's a bigger problem. Speaking of Rutgers, Nebraska dips out of the bowl game. Remember, Rutgers had 40 guys, and they brought the one kid from like Australia.
Yeah.
And they kept tweeting out the bowl gifts and all that. They had a week's worth of practice. Greg Sean was like, we're practicing. They found enough guys that are willing to practice.
Minnesota beat Nebraska with like 35 active dudes.
Yeah.
Here in Lincoln.
Mo Ibrahim was twerking.
Whew. Could have been that Bad Bunny show last night.
Question is, how would I handle it? If I wanted to coach the game, if I felt like we needed to play, I'll say, okay, I share hands. Who wants to play? If I got enough to play, we're playing. Guys that don't, no hard feelings, holler to play. I see you at the street. We're going to go do work. We're going to get better.
Primal like high school, playing 2 ways if we got to.
Right? We're going to just burn every time out. And I'm going to say, we need an extra couple TV timeouts. Get those things out there with those fluorescent vests out there. When I give you the nod, we're going to commercial. Yeah. So anyways, we're going to commercial. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll see if we can find another excerpt to send you guys home with on this Monday. Old School, we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We got a quick segment here. Get back on time so we get Tom Chattel. We got one more quote, Austin. What is it?
We got all sorts of them. Bill Moose alleges that Nebraska sicked a private investigator on him in Chicago. Purchased a bottle of alcohol on the last day of Big Ten meetings.
Too many Chicago dogs?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Purchased a bottle of alcohol on a different credit card, then was told about it 2 days later after previously submitting to being tested for alcohol. So that's interesting.
Yeah, because remember he had that article where he's like, yeah, I'll have a couple of beers.
Yeah. Let's see. At 8 a.m. on Monday, February 8th, the day after a conversation, I received a call from Ronnie Green telling me to cancel the Oklahoma game. That's what Bill Moose is saying. Yeah. Okay. Still not sure who my boss was. I asked if Ted Carter and Jim Pillen agreed with that decision. His answer was yes. Then I bluntly said, okay, but you need to know that I will not go on record as being supportive of this. I guarantee the fans will be irate when they hear about it. When Ronnie heard that, he told me he would think about it some more and call me the next morning. Almost exactly 24 hours later, I answered my phone, but it wasn't Ronnie. It was Ted Carter, who reiterated what his chancellor has told me. The game was to be canceled.
So did we cancel Oklahoma?
No, he had to play that game. This is the one they lost 23-17 down in Norman.
Yeah,
I pointed out to Ted that any chance of
2021.
returning, to the Big 12 would go down the drain. Any chances of returning would go down the drain if we pulled the plug on the Oklahoma game. His surprising response was that there were only 2 regions in favor of moving back to the Big 12, and it was no longer an option.
Hey, that dude. I mean, this.
Sorry, I kept reading. My reaction to that was firm, and I believe justified. I believed I had connected the dots with Bob Bowlesby to possibly pull this off.
It's diabolical, man.
Former Big 12 commissioner Bob Bowlesby, by the way, folks.
Longtime friend is.
Long time.
It's diabolical. Listen, this is, look, he's been gone for I don't know how many years, right? But it holds true in Nebraska. Small town, 300,000. Football team trying to come on the come up. Ended the season not on like the best note. Basketball team striving. Softball team's getting busy. But dang it, that drama with that football team ain't never gonna stop, man. Anyways,
get your own way.
Now we're gonna have to spend all day Wednesday on it because you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read the book and I'm gonna give you my report.
Okay. Share your Greek mythology homework with me.
I am. I'm gonna have the cliff notes. I'm gonna give you my report. Jay Foreman's report on Bill Moose.
My wife's got a Kindle. I can buy it on there and read it today. How about
Wednesday. For Jay Foreman, my man Austin Norman, we are old school with new school stuff from Bill Moose. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic